should start streaming before it devolves into cat stories. You're right. Sorry about that.
Oh, we still have 4 minutes.
Make sure. Okay, sound is down. We are live. I never worry about who's going to show up and when, unless everyone's like, I can't make it, I can't do it. And now that I have, now that I'm juggling 2 jobs, this should be exciting, and I may not be able to make next. Here he is. I may not be able to make next Monday's podcast, but I don't know what my hours are going to be yet. But the last week of October in the season is notoriously very busy. I got a job at the 13th floor as an actor. I haven't done this in 11 years. I need to get in shape. What kind of makeup do you want? None.
You haven't officially done this. You have been doing this your whole life, so don't sell yourself short.
Well, no. Yeah. Okay. That rings true. But I always recommended people doing haunted houses, but a lot of people didn't want to do it more than one night, one weekend, one season. And I get that because it's not a normal job. It's high. If you are in love, like a lot of them are, people are into the horror of it and into the moving of it, or into scaring people. I enjoy the emotional exchange. Because it's not always screaming, it's not always getting punched in the face. Sometimes you'll jump out and say something, and they're afraid because they're in an unfamiliar area and they're around hostile people and all this shit is going on. But if you say something funny, they'll laugh, and they'll laugh really hard because you're the first one to say something funny in a long line of, whatever the guys are saying in there, get out of here, I'll swallow your soul. All this. Or as Reverend Fishcracker says, the greatest Egyptian god, boo, ra. Boo, ra. Oh, God, don't do that. Come up with a line. Even if it's stupid, say something stupid. Rent Fair and Haunted House are the place for dad jokes. If you're a dad joke connoisseur, or if you can rattle off dad jokes, you're worth a lot of money in a haunt, especially if you can keep them fresh. And you're not using the same ones every night, It's like being a midget. If you're a midget, you're worth your weight in gold at a haunt. Or if you can walk in drywall stilts. Back in the day, in the late 90s and the early 2000s, most of your actors are getting paid $8 an hour. Here comes your drywall stilt guy. Now he's going to clear $1,200. He's literally going to get paid twice as much as all the other actors just because he can run, move, jump, stand on drywall stilts for 3 hours during the week, 5 hours, maybe more on the weekends, depending on frequency. And then Halloween night, that is the gauntlet. It's the last weekend it's just like Friday night until November 1st. And then the haunters are just like, no more. It's like, it's coming November 2nd. Fuck you. Everything hurts. I need a break. That's when the other crew gets in there and either starts. It depends. Back in the day, it depended on where you were. If we were doing Alice Cooper's Nightmare, well, then we just locked everything down. But if it was Rob Zombie's Great American Nightmare, there was going to be a, dirt bike. They were going to fill the half dome at the Westworld with dirt. So we needed to get the entire show out of there in like a couple weeks. Yeah. We filled dumpsters after the Steve Kopelman's 9 tractor trailers were full. It's like, we don't have any more room. Get a U-Haul. We don't have any more room. Order another dumpster. We got to get out of here. Yeah. It was sad.
Yep, I always got in trouble I wanted to make reusable facades. So I was the guy that was building facades that could hold up. But they didn't like that because that cost money. And they usually threw away everything at the end of the year, unless it was a really good reusable. Some
Yeah.
that we're definitely going to use the old man in the shack every year. Okay, well, we'll make that a little nicer.
Because here, haunted house is like Ren Fair and TV. If you've got a good bit or you've got a good act and you're funny or scary enough that people, that guy in that room with this, that he said this and it was really funny, and if they keep hearing that all night long, all season long, you're going to get your own room next year. Because you're a draw. They like you. They want you. They come back. Oh. Hello and welcome to the Supreme Council of the Master Geeks Lodge. My name is Bill Kelly, Hornswoggle the Great, that annoying weird guy that everyone tolerates that comes into the room now and then. And with me, my fellow council members tonight are...
I am Rob, also known as Jingo the Fool. I am the head game master over at my Twitch channel, the Ship of Fools, where I, kind of on a hiatus now, but run my land of make-believe, and I think I pulled you guys into my land of make-believe. Sorry I wasn't here last Monday, but we had, a hurricane come through Tempe.
We had a most impressive, or as George Carter would make fun of, a weather event.
It was a weather event. I don't know how familiar you are with Tempe, but there's a road, Roosevelt, that runs north from Southern all the way to University and has all these great big stately trees along it. 70% of them are gone, pushed over by that storm. There are 3 different buildings in my apartment complex that had big trees fall on them and are unoccupable. Right now, I had no power till Thursday evening and had no hot water till Saturday morning, and I still have no gas.
Terribly sorry about that.
MP is soliciting, they were soliciting requests for support and assistance because they're going to make a valiant attempt at getting assistance from FEMA and feds to support what happened, the assistance in Tempe. There was some of the worst microbursts we've seen quite a long time. And the city is trying very hard they're asking everybody.
I live at ground zero.
Yeah. Well, they're saying if you check the city's website, Rob, they may, I don't know if you guys had any damage as such.
No, we didn't. We lost a fridge full of food. That was our big damage. But I'm fortunately in a position to be able to replace all that food. So it wasn't a hardship for me. But they've had a Red Cross truck out here every morning and every evening serving meals to anybody and everybody in the complex because we can't cook. We've been getting by on our electric grill and our crock pot.
We're going to be going, my Scottish Rite Lodge will be at St. Mary's tomorrow. It is our regular St. Mary's Day. And so I will throw this out to all of our listeners, all of our viewers, everyone who's paying attention, because you may not see this tonight, Monday night, the 20th, but think about this as you're going along. You see this later. You have an opportunity. Go ahead and help out with somebody like the Red Cross, help out with your local food banks, help out with any of those groups, because it could just as easily be, if not you, it could be your friends, your family. It could be the person that you don't know very well, but you see them every Thursday when you're going down to the grocery store. So it takes you a little bit of time and energy to step up and help out with these things, but it can make a world of difference for the person who's been.
We skipped your introduction, but you're exactly right on everything you said.
Well, and that can be a part of my pro forma introduction. I am Rob the Blacksmith. I am tonight, in this moment, I was just also Rob the charity pusher. I try to get folks out there. It's one of the things that I do as a member of the Freemasons and the Scottish Rite. And that's something that I try to do as much and as often as I can, is help people out. You know, put your hand out, help them up. Just keep moving.
What's today's cigar?
Oh, today's cigar. It's one I haven't had in a long while.
For episode 44. 44!
It's La Aroma de Cuba El Jefe.
La Roma
So it's a large ring, and it would be a short. Here's my meat hook, and it would be a short Churchill, but it is a very large ring gauge. The ring gauge itself is larger than my thumb. So
they are tasty big cigars. They are. Oh, I was showing off to Rob. Thanks to my former boss, Fabian Brown, we have this that we are going to use at the net. We are blowing up on Rumble. Oh my God. Like 92 people. Go ahead. Sorry.
My microphone here I'll be bringing to the next game as well. And I have like I said, I have a boom stand to clamp it to the table, and so we can put it out in the middle. That one that you got is more omnidirectional, and it'll probably work better.
I figured that one could go to the center of the table and pick up everybody. And then I need to test it out, but since Bill brought back the cameras, what I want to do is I'll take those, the Canon SLRs that I have also do video. So I'm going to set them up, try and connect them up to at least the laptop, one of them to the laptop, and we can use that for the video side and let it just run straight into the laptop so we can use that hard drive again, capture all of our video.
Oh, I have a USB hub to hook multiple cameras in. I also have it's called a Stream Deck. It's a bank of hotkeys that we can use in a variety of ways.
Like sound effects.
I use it for sound effects and background music in my RPGs.
Really? Dude,
and
awesome.
yes, and to switch between scenes in my broadcast software. And it does a lot of other things too.
I wonder if my Alexa has any kind of Dungeons and Dragons mood music available.
You want to be careful because that's all licensed.
Yeah, I want to work on that. And in the meanwhile, I think I'm going to have to beat Fenner.
You had to beat him.
He seemed very excited.
Yes, there was a vile, evil someone walking down the street he's never seen before, and he had to let them know that this is his block.
Got it. Thank you, sir. I could hear him from here. Law, don't come round here, Kansas law dog. You savvy that? I heard you the first time. Winner to the king. God, I love that movie. It was just his birthday, Stephen Lang. I reposted it. And he grandfather is Stephen Lang's greatest. Yes, and I pretend, yes, and all those kids can spell.
Anyways, we were talking about music. There's this wonderful service called Sirenscape that provides, it's a subscription service, and I pay for it, that provides sound effects and music for RPGs. And I will be hopefully having some of that set up and implemented for the next game.
Okay, that'll work.
I'll be bringing my laptop and my Stream Deck. However, my laptop is long in the tooth and the batteries only last a couple of hours, so I'll need a place to power it.
You got where you were sitting last time at the head of the table. You should have outlets behind you there. There's also outlets on the exterior wall by the Arcadia door, and then there's outlets over by the utility room. And of course, as Bill can attest, I have more power squibs and extension cords and whatnot. You guys saw the workshop, so I can draw power from just about anywhere. We can dim the lights in the neighborhood if we need.
True. No, it'll be very good. 11th? Is that? I think we agreed on the 11th.
Let me look at the.
Because we jumped onto the statue, and all I can hear is Mattel. Into the fire!
November 8th is the next one.
November 8th?
Yeah, the 11th is a Tuesday. The 8th is a Saturday.
Oops. Okay.
Because
That
Rob
would
said he was busy the first weekend of November. Also, my wife has something she's doing the first weekend of November, and she will have my car. So,
So all the good reason that you're getting it.
yeah, so I won't be able to get there.
Ed wants to go. Ron wants to go. I'm sure Chad and Derek and maybe Will and I mean, I hope. After a while,
Zach is real excited. He enjoyed it. He was beside himself, and he was grateful you guys let him come in as a rookie.
rookies are the best.
Rookies are I was just going to say that, the excitement of people that, new to the game. The first time you play it, you get a taste, and that's all you can think about for days is the next time you get to do that again.
And then when you've been playing from 9 to 53, it's all you can think about until the next time you get to play. Yeah. You're not gaming right now. I know, man. You know where I can score? You know a group who needs a wizard?
I know some video games that are good simulations.
Like that. Oh, wow. I mean,
There's one called Solasta, Crown of the Magister. And it's
I don't need another addiction, please. No. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's kind of isometric like the old Baldur's Gate games, only it's much more. It's based on the modern D&D stuff, and you can. The cool thing is that you can play it multiplayer. I'll have to stream it sometime so you guys can check it out.
There's a lot of fun games that were single-player games that had a multiplayer option, and then you got to play it, and it was actually like a lot of fun, like Freelancer, and even Vampire the Masquerade, the very first Vampire Redemption in 1999. I still have the DVD, and randomly I'll still play it on Steam. Yeah, like and subscribe if you want me to play that. But the problem is you can't. You have to save that game because you're going through a whole storyline, and Steam does not allow you. You save it, and then the next time you play the game, it's gone. You rat bastards! What the? So that's one of the fun aspects of that. Oh man! So it sucks in life, and this isn't just reality. This is a metaphor. You think you've taken care of everything. You think you got it all under control. You think you've emptied every bucket and container in the backyard after a lot of rain. But still, you're getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. And it must be the goddamn next door. Oh my God, here's this huge tub. I'm the one breeding mosquitoes. I'm the one that made me look like a crackhead. And even in the last video, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, I got chewed up. Yeah, the storm scared up mosquitoes for like 2 days after that.
I can't wait till it gets cold and the bugs have to go back to hell where they belong. Just kidding.
My ankles looked like my house was carpeted with razor wire.
They're like
they were just shredded.
Yeah, I made the cat run away because they like hide underneath the desk, and you hit them with the Windex vinegar solution, and they're like, ah! It doesn't kill them, but man, that bucks them up real bad. Oh, but you were saying like Cliff and how he got the name Reverend Fish Crackers to segue back to haunted house stuff. He became so successful his first year with he would run up to people and start smelling them and start screaming, "You've got my fish crackers, give me my fish cracker," and he would just fast talk and chase them, and here's this crazy guy with dreadlocks being all manic and piercings and tattoos in your face screaming about fit. And he took psychology in community college and told the professor what he had planned to do, that he was going to do haunted houses for the rest of his life. And she took that as, oh my God, we can make so many character psychotics together. So she would sit and eat lunch with him, and they would he learned a lot about psychology, but most of it is geared toward how to like fuck with people. So he kind of curtailed that into, and the next year, here's your room. It's just your room. It's and it's a padded room just for you. So it's all in how you go about having a character there, and what, you don't always have to be super scary 9, dialed up to 9. You can be subtle and build it.
You
and
just
go crazy
need to be
when you bring it
weird.
up. Yeah. Pretty much.
I saw one of those little short TikToks. I think it's recycled last year or the year before. And it's the same guy plays the two characters. One character is the devil, and the other character is the devil's personal assistant.
Okay.
And he comes to the personal assistant and he asks him, give me something really bad. And the personal assistant doesn't like to do bad things, but he always comes up with these horribly frightening things that the devil recoils at. And in this one, he says, all right, you build a haunted house. In a haunted house, people go through it, and it's the worst, the poorest haunted house. It's all the most cliche, and the people go through the whole thing, and when they get to the end, what they think is the exit is actually the entrance into the real haunted house. With all
That's good.
So when people think they've gotten through it all, you hit them, and the devil recoils. It's like, my God, you're insane. Thank you.
You absolute psycho. Right on. I have so many. Well, time and money, that's all it takes. Somebody finally made the idea that I've been talking about since 1998 a reality, but it would take a lot of money, and that's to do a haunted house casino resort in Vegas. Because, it's not going to make any money. Do you have any idea how many goth chicks there are in America? You would be... You open that place and you are going to have weddings booked every fucking weekend for the next 5 years. Oh my God, I need the black room. Oh my God, I want the red room.
Yep.
They don't have a white room, it's marble. Trust me. Every weekend for 5 years. It'll be a 5-year waiting list. Not only that, I wanted to do the best contest ever. They do all this, the makeup artists, they have a show where they do the makeup artist show. It's like Forged in Fire and any of the other ones. But you're doing it all wrong. You're eliminating and so every once a year at this casino haunted house thing, Miss Dead America contest. So every makeup artist gets 2 super hot models.
Yep. You get to do the one thing that picked up after a while after the Oingo Boingo album came out and kind of fell away, but then it's coming back again. And what's that? The Dead Man's Party. And you put that up, and people lose their minds for it because they can show up and enjoy themselves. And in Vegas, you could run a Dead Man's Party every Saturday night throughout October, and people would lose their minds for it.
Yeah.
And then have the big one on Halloween, where you hand out awards and prizes to each, to the best costume couple and person.
Yeah.
For each, and then you give them, hey, here's your freebie pass to come back on Halloween.
Yeah. All the upper floor you reserve, and you say, keep it within budget, but design your own room. And you go to Stephen King and Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper and Clyde Barker and pick one.
Yeah, pick your going. People.
Now, I love this one, and this one would be so much fun. You pick this numbered floor to this numbered floor. These are an active floors. You're under torment 24/7, and your only safe place is the bathroom. No, not in the bathroom. That's, you gotta have, I don't want to be fucked with in the bathroom. I don't fuck with people in the bathroom. I do not. I mean, like my kids when they were little, but that's different. The wife, the ex-wife, when she couldn't get away, but that's different. But other than that, I always hated that when they did it at haunts and at Ren Fair and messing with people in the bathrooms and the porta-johns. It's like, dude, leave him alone.
No, that's not cool.
It just, no. He's in there taking a dump. Do you really want to? What kind of prank is that?
And the whole thing, you could take, how much fun you could have with that. And who could you bring?
Uh-oh. No! You're digitizing.
Uh-oh. See if it comes back.
Domo Origato.
Mr.
Who do you
Robot.
bring back?
We can't sing. They're going to demonetize us again.
Who do you bring back for those events? You bring back the old and new screen queens. So you try and get Jamie Lee Curtis to show up. You try and get Cassandra Peterson to show up. And you don't have them in costume. You just have them there to have fun.
Yeah, you do
and
a
then
signing.
You get the younger girls to
Cassandra
come out.
Peterson there, and you say, "Hey, it's Elvira. Everybody come down and say hi to her." And and all the icons. You can get them all. Then the best part is you have a bar up in those upper floors or even down on the thing, and it's a haunted bar. So most of the bar is all solenoids and pneumatics and lights and trickery. It's like your chair's going down. Oh my God, it is. Have a pool table that you can turn a magnet on now and then, and Or the best would be, honestly, I would want to have. I never have any money. I'm always poor. But if I was a millionaire, I'd hang out in the casino and just go from dealer to dealer and have them dressed as horror horror movie and horror store across the board. From the one I posted from 1896, the very first horror movie, till modern day. Just have all.
Let them have fun.
Yeah, Adam Frankenstein's monster is dealing blackjack, and
Yeah, and then you have yourself a field day. You bring in everybody gets to dress up. Everybody gets a bonus for working the night.
It would be real fun to have an actress that's like over the top and dress her up as Lily Munster and put her in charge of a crap table. I think that would be fun. Because you can't do Morticia. She's too. You gotta
Too overdone.
Fun with all. If you got all those ladies, all of the ladies of horror, them have
You're
fun.
breaking up.
You're breaking up. All we got was them out of that. Oh no! Oh, it's like we get a couple minutes of you moving, and then it freezes, and then you move again, and then it freezes, and then you move again, and then. Goddamn future! I hate it. We're using a landline. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. So what I was trying to stay running
14.4
is you set it up where you have all of the first ladies of horror. So you have the Bride of Frankenstein. You have Lily Munster. You have Morticia Addams. You have all of these characters show up, but they're all, you let them roam around as kind of a ladies group, and they get to have fun, and they get to be outgoing and just interact with everybody throughout the facility. And, you shouldn't play that card, and move along.
You want to really mess with people, you don't hire actresses to do this. You hire drag queens to do it.
Oh, probably.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
let them go over the
area,
top.
Yeah,
you don't tell
the adult areas. Yes.
You just don't tell people that they're drag queens.
The best I think would be like, okay, for 3 months, all the dealers are zombies. For 3 months, all of the dealers are characters from the Isle of Dr. Monroe. Moreau?
Yeah. Moreau.
Thank you. I said it wrong. Not Monroe, the president. He did an okay job. The Monroe Doctrine. Read it. Anyway.
He had a country named after him.
Yes, he did. Monrovia in Africa. You and I are super history nerds.
No life.
Well, it's fascinating. If I had a time machine, I'd never be in my present time. Let's go here. Oh my God, when is that? 1385?
Yeah, if I had a time machine, I'd go back in time. It's like, Stevie, let Eric Clapton get on that helicopter.
Yeah.
Well,
buddy, don't take the bus, not the plane. Big Bopper.
Yeah.
Hello, baby. Oh.
There would be a few places I would go, but I would want to make sure that I could get in and out quickly, because it would be, I would be the traveling pimp slapper. Is there a number of people who need to be, what I like to say is the soft reset. The hard reset is using the Hanson style with the
You came up with a superhero for this. His name is Captain Bitch Slap.
There we go.
Whenever somebody
Bitch
does something that's just completely, oh man, he needs to have the shit slapped out of him. Captain Bitch Slap shows up and he slaps him. And his superpower, he slaps you so hard that it leaves a permanent handprint on your cheek for the rest of your life to know you've been Captain Bitch Slapped.
like being branded a coward with a C on your cheek if you deserted the Southern Confederacy back in the day.
That's
no,
like
that one's a coward. There's a C on his cheek.
What is it? Five Finger Death Punch has a lyric, I think. It's I'll slap you so hard you think you French kissed a freight train.
That's a good one. Superheroes are awesome. That's why yeah, they're probably the number 5 dress up at Halloween. Oh, by the way, today is October 20th. It's Suspenders Day. See those?
I don't have mine on.
Oh, you've got some on? Hey! One of us is paying attention. World Osteoporosis Day. That's a serious thing. Office Chocolate Day. Bring chocolate to your coworkers. Only you're getting this now at 5 p.m., so... sorry, the news is late. This next one I call bullshit because we've already had... it's also National Day on Writing. But we already had write a letter down. This is like rhinoceroses and elephants being on the same day. There's 365. We could spread this shit out or not have us ancillary. Why do we need 2 days on? Why do we need 2 days on? And I'm a big advocate for the written word. Just because I suck at it doesn't mean I don't hold it in high I mean, I collect books like crazy. I dropped off a big very sad at our society, and it makes me want to cry. Because I dropped off a very large box of books and a few DVDs to half-price books over here at what used to be PV Mall. You know, education and knowledge used to be praised and coveted and hidden away and shared in secret. Now you can't give the damn things away. Oh, my God. Probably a 60-pound... Me too. Probably a 60-pound box of books. $13 and change.
They should have paid you by weight at least.
Would have made more money. It would have made more money for recycling the wood, the paper, than the ink.
No. We need to have a national write only in cursive day. That way I can drive my grandchildren insane.
I absolutely despise cursive. It's a relic that needs to go away. The whole reason it was invented was back when you used to use a quill pen and an inkwell. Okay. You couldn't lift the pen from the paper without leaving a big old splotch. Yeah. Therefore, cursive was invented to keep the pen on the paper until you got to the end of what you were writing.
Oh, man. Stop.
It is obsolete. It needs to go.
Growing up, my father wrote in print. My mother wrote in cursive. What do you want? I could drive stick or automatic. What do you... What's that? That's a B. Army. That's an F.
Yeah. My father grew up in the 30s, and he was in San Francisco. He was a member of an Irish-Italian family, which in and of itself was an interesting time. He went to Catholic school all the way through high school. Mm. He was left-handed. He learned how to write with both hands, throw baseball with both hands. He could write cursive with both hands, and he learned how to write with a ruler, right? His cursive with a ruler, so the lines were absolutely perfect, and you finished off each of the dang. And so I got to learn that way. The saving grace was he never told me you have to learn to write with your left hand. So,
I only served kindergarten in Catholic school, but the teacher tied me to a chair and told my mother to come get me, and that the devil was my best friend and not to bring me back. And I wish that was a joke. It's actually true. My mom's still alive. She can tell you. The devil's your best friend. I heard that the rest of my life. It's great. I don't believe in the devil.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, he walks with me all the time. We have long conversations.
This is my dog, Satan. Say hello, Lucifer. Yeah, no. But no, it's interesting, like in comic relief used to be a thing in America when Robin Williams and Billy Crystal and Whoopi Goldberg were, Robin Williams and Billy Crystal were driving and they had one comedian in San Francisco that was a brand new comedian named Jake Johansson, and his whole bit was actually religious humor, and he talked about he belonged to a church that had an alternative. They believe that after the Last Supper, because he knew he was going to be crucified, Jesus went to take a bath, and he didn't die on the cross. He slipped and fell in the tub and died that way. So instead of making the cross, they all just go, whoa, and fall backwards into the pews. And for christening, they just get the thing and spray the baby. And then... that was like the funniest take on the trust I've ever heard. Jake Johansson's been in a few movies and shows and stuff. He managed to...
The name sounds familiar.
Hold on. The problem, my dad and I loved Rodney Dangerfield. My mom absolutely hated him. And I watched 2 of the documentaries on Rodney Dangerfield because when I was a kid in the 80s and HBO, and they had Dangerfields and improv and comic relief, and it was always Rodney or somebody else introducing all of these comics. And I didn't learn until recently, a few years back, that he's the reason that all of those comics have a career. Tim Allen, Jeff Foxworthy, Ron White, Brett Butler, Roseanne Barr, all of those big shows that were with comedians, that was because of Rodney.
I remember a story somebody had told me about Rodney Dangerfield, how there was a bar near his house, and sometimes in the early afternoons, he'd come down to the bar and he'd get up on the stage and he'd practice his jokes because the bar was empty. And he said one day he came in and he did his typical Rodney thing. He comes in and he, gets up onto the stage. He sits down on the stool and he takes his glasses off and, takes his glasses out of his pocket and he puts them on, and then he reaches in his pocket and he takes out a piece of paper and unfolds it and he starts reading his jokes. And somebody at one of the tables about 3 jokes in said, "You suck!" And so Rodney calmly folded up his piece of paper and tucked it in his pocket and took his pair of glasses off and stowed them away and stood up and said, "Fuck you!" And then sat down and took his glasses out of his pocket and put it on his nose and took out the piece of paper and went back to practicing his jokes.
In the documentaries, they say that both of his parents are vaudevillians. His mom sang and danced. His father was a far more talented actor, singing, dancing, acting. I believe he played piano. Don't quote me on the last one. But Mom had to raise Rodney, and I believe there's a sibling or 2. Don't quote me on that one either. And then she just kind of ignored him. She did not want to be a mom. And from the way they describe her behavior, it's textbook depression. So Rodney grows up and is trying to get into show business, and he ends up, I can't remember what his ex-wife, I think she was a singer or a dancer, and they end up getting together, and they have 2 kids together. But the whole time, he's absolutely striving to get his comedy career going. He's doing his day job as aluminum siding salesman and installer all over the East Coast, all over New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all of it. So he's still desperately trying to be a comedian. The problem is that his wife she's depressed too, and she becomes a raging alcoholic. So he kind of has to work all day, come home, make dinner for the kids, read to them, play with them, get them in bed, and then he goes down to the basement, gets high as a kite, and then drinks, and then he writes out a joke. And if it's okay, he'll write another joke underneath it. And then he doesn't like that one, so we'll scratch it out, and he'll write it again. And he doesn't like that, and he'll scratch it out, and he writes it again, and he writes it again. And once it's good, and that piece of paper is good jokes, he put that in this gunny sack, this duffel bag, and then he would get another joke going. So he's there like 20 years in the basement, just high out of his mind all by himself, writing jokes over and over and over again about life and his take on everything. And that's why every time you see his stand-up, hey, I get no respect, you know. I said to my kid, one day you'll have kids of your own. He looked up at me and said, so will you. You know, that's a classic no respect joke from Rodney because, you know, his stand-up.
He was a genius.
Yeah. He meets Jack Benny. And he's all nervous because Jack Benny's like a god to him, like he is to a lot of us struggling wannabe comedians, actors. And Benny just doesn't, he's being Jack Benny, and Rodney's like all fucking having an anxiety attack. And it's such a pleasure to meet you, and all the pleasantries get discussed, and they're very cordial to one another. There's a long silence, and Benny doesn't say anything, and Dangerfield starts freaking out. And finally, Benny can see that he's making him nervous, and he's like, I envy you. What? True story. I envy you. You've made your immortality, basically, is what he says to him. And he's like, what are you talking about? You're Jack Benny. You've carved your way out of vaudeville to be on radio, to go into movies and television. Dude, you're the fucking icon of your time. You're like Milton Berle. You're up there with, at the time, Gracie and George and Gracie, because they were actually hugely popular. We just see them as an old man, and because Gracie died way before George. So, but he's like, what do you mean you envy me? And he's like, you're going to be longer lived than I am. And he's like, I don't understand what you're saying. He's like, my whole act is based on being cheap. The whole rapport with Rochester, the whole rapport with his wife, every bit of that comedy is about
the car that it took a quarter to operate.
Which really, Jack Benny wasn't that cheap in real life, but that's what people laughed at, so okay.
That was the gag.
Yeah, like Cheech and Chong, it's like, hey, you guys are the funny drug comedians. We're the drug comedians? Jokes about drugs, here we go. So Benny just kept going with it, and he's like, I'm the cheap guy. The problem with that, and compared to you, is everybody maybe meets somebody that's cheap. They can't necessarily identify with it because maybe they don't know a miser. Maybe they don't know somebody who rinses out paper towels and dries them to use them twice. Maybe you don't know somebody that, but everybody on the planet once or twice in their life can identify with being disrespected by either someone they care about or someone they don't even know. That's your immortality. Everyone can identify with you. Whether they like you or whether they hate you, they understand where you're coming from because no respect. I don't get any respect, man. And that, Rodney took that and ran with it. Rodney's first acts were abysmal. He tried to do impersonations. He tried to do all this like topical humor in the early 50s, and it just did not. He bombed. He died on stage several times. That's why Rodney Dangerfield's real name is Jacob Cohen, but if you ever die on stage, you can never use that name again. You have to go and reinvent yourself. And Rodney Dangerfield was like a name of, I think there were like 15. There were all these different characters that he and, it wasn't Jack Parr, it was somebody. He and this other guy had made up all these. Rodney Dangerfield was a cowboy. It was like terrible at being a cowboy. Like all the cows got away and he always shot himself and the name stuck, and okay, I'm Rodney Dangerfield now. Comedy is fickle. It doesn't last long. You got to go with it.
Yes.
self-deprecating, creating their own style, and tried to carry on. They never carried it to the same level.
You're digitizing on us again. I'm sorry. I hate saying that, but I wanted to hear what you have to say. So it's like we're only getting every sixth word. Sorry. In the immortal words of Paul, I don't mean to be a dick. You're about to be a dick.
Yes,
but I'm going to say this. Yeah, you meant that. Don't say I don't mean it if you mean it. Say the thing and then say, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick. Thank you for the precursor. The warm-up.
It looks like my internet might be working for a moment.
Okay, go.
But
start at the beginning.
What I was saying was that he took self-deprecating humor and took it to the next level. And a lot of other people have been able to do self-deprecating humor, but they haven't. They never created their own subgenre of that to the same extent that Rodney was able to do.
I agree. Because you have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say his type of humor, though, was not the elaborate jokes and the story like, say, George Carlin or Bill Cosby tell you a story and get you laughing. Rodney's was always short-hitting one-liners. Bam, 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 bam. And, that takes a certain talent to be able to just,
Only looking for a short lead-in. I need one or two lines to lead you into the tale. Then I can hit you with a one-line zinger that brings it forward. I can tell you about, I went to dinner the other night with my wife. We were in a really nice restaurant. And then he hits you with the zinger. I can tell you about I was driving down the road and I stopped at the stoplight. So he's giving you the visual, and and like you had said, though, he's every man. At that point, he's every man in the world. I was driving. I've been driving. I stopped at a stoplight.
Today.
I stopped at a stoplight. Some guy looked at me and said something to me. Somebody's done that to me too.
Fuck that guy. Yeah. No, you can identify with it because it happened to you. But you're right. A place for my stuff. Dude, that's a long bit for him to explain going to Hawaii and going all the places he different went. And it's an entertaining story. But with comedy, more so with improv, but and also with a scripted bit, you still have to judge the audience. If they're not interested,
you have to be able to deliver it.
There you go.
Knowing a joke and knowing how to tell it are two different things. It's like the MASH episode where BJ and Hawkeye are both telling a joke, and everybody laughs when BJ tells it, but nobody laughs when Hawkeye tells it.
Yep.
It's like it's certain jokes too. Some people cannot tell certain jokes. Other people, they can get away with telling any kind of joke they want to. But like when Ron is like, you don't expect him to say this like just unhinged shit, but he does. And it makes it even funnier because it's like when a lot of comedians that are sitting there in a suit and then they just say the most appalling, horrible stuff. I love it. Another, oh God, the last comedian that I saw live was Emo Phillips. He opened up for Weird Al Yankovic in the Ill-Advised when Hannah bought me the ticket to the show. Weird Al Yankovic, the Ill-Advised on the tour they told him not to do, and he did it anyway. It was just him and the band, and they were just unplugged, and it was neat. It was great. But Emo Phillips is still Emo Phillips, and his two favorite lines of mine are, "The computer beat me at chess, and I was very upset, but he was no match for me at kickboxing." That, and I like to start every morning with a piping hot pot of coffee. That's the best way to get me going, is a nice, scorching, piping hot pot of coffee. Now, I've tried other enemas. Oh, God. It's been 40 years, and that's still hearing that upsets me.
One of my favorite comedians, and he is no longer with us, is a gentleman by the name of Mitch Hedberg. He talks like he's like completely wasted out on drugs, but and it's observational humor.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of drugs. I still do, but I used to too. That's my favorite line of his.
I stayed at a hotel last night. I'm not allowed to tell you which one, but there were 2 trees involved.
There's one about he wanted to get bread for a duck from Subway, so he wanted to buy just the bun. And it was this whole bit, and he's arguing with the guy, and at the end, he's like, look, just sell me some bread so I can give it to a duck, and they can eat it. Oh, and the guy tells him, ducks eat for free at Subway. What's that? Yes, ducks eat for free. Well, tomorrow a duck's going to come in and order roast beef if they eat for free. Yeah, Mitch Hedberg is funny. Sadly, he's not well known, but oh my God, he has the best exit line for getting off stage ever, and a lot of his comedy is fucking hysterical, and it's now only after his death that GEEKY Guy is starting to, like, get a bigger... He's always had a following, but it's been kind of small. But his line is, okay, I'm about to get off now, and I really don't want to do that on stage, so I better go. Ew. Ew. And just everybody in the audience just fucking fell apart. And like, oh my God. It was like the comedian John Fox and his comedy, because he was kind of, here's a whole bunch of jokes, hurry up and breathe in between laughs. I got a camouflage shirt and put it in my closet. I can't find that fucker nowhere. I don't know what's...
No, I had thought at one time that I would want to do stand-up comedy, but like I said, my comedy is spontaneous and reactive. It's improvisational, but more stream of consciousness. I don't sit around thinking of funny things. You know, just something funny will come across my brain and it'll come out of my mouth before I even think about what it is. And it's usually funny.
I have to agree with you 100% because I've been worshiping stand-up comics since, Ron and I were buying all of the albums and listening to them, you know. Go, hey, come over, I got a new Robin Williams or Billy Crystal. But I either had a lot of lightning jokes or I've got a lot of hilarious stories, but they don't fit into a 5-minute, you know, give me your best. Oh crap. Okay. No. Okay. No. So that's kind of like, everyone was like, why aren't you doing it? Because you won't help me write an act.
But Bill, you and Rob, and I'll throw myself into this group at a much lower level, but it falls along the lines, like Rob said, you guys do very well off the cuff because you can take that moment. Somebody can throw out to you, okay, a dog with 3 legs, boom, and off you go. You got 5 great stories that just came through because you got the dog with 3 legs. That was why I always really enjoyed Jonathan Winters, because he was another guy that you could hand him a coffee cup, and he could go for 5 minutes on something that just came out of no place.
Little known fact: the role of Mork from Ork was originally written for Jonathan Winters.
Oh, that's why they had him come in as Mirth, and they absolutely loved each other. Winters and Williams. They had so much fun.
They did a special years ago, and I'd love to find it again. But they did a special. It was like an hour and 45 minutes. And it was literally those two just coming on and off the stage with other comedians and actors and things like that. But they would just there was no script.
Yeah.
So somebody would come in and they say, okay, you're a customer in a pizzeria, and Jonathan Winters and Robin Williams are the guys working in the pizzeria.
Yeah.
Boom. And off they go. And so now Robin Williams only speaks Italian, and Jonathan Winters is trying to explain to him how to do things while the customer's ordering pizza. And
yeah.
so like, some of the greatest routines, and I know Johnny Carson used to love to have those two on. Or if they found out one was going to be on, the other would try and come on so that they could be there. And Carson loved it because he could sit back. He's like, okay, I got 10 minutes. I don't have to do anything.
We're just going to watch the ratings roll in.
And they just have a field day. But you know who couldn't stand them was, who was the other guy that had the late night?
Ed McMahon?
No, Ed McMahon, the other late night show.
David Letterman.
David Letterman.
David Letterman. Letterman could not stand Robin Williams because he couldn't control the interaction. And so after a few times that he was on the program, he didn't come back for a while until much later. And I can understand it because Letterman was used to being in control. He ran everything. He moved everything through it. Where Carson is like, no, you're here to do this. This is what you do. Turn it loose. Have a field day.
That totally is a great analogy of what Rob was just. Comedy doesn't fit in a box, and it's the most malleable and time-sensitive art.
It's like music. There are different types of musical talent. There's different types of comedic talent. I can tell a good, funny story. I'm much better at the off-the-cuff stream of consciousness, playing off of what else is going around me and what other people say.
Yeah.
That's my forte. But I can't sit down and write funny jokes and make things like that funny. It just doesn't come that way for me.
I would agree 100%. I sit there and write what I think is funny on Facebook and no one reacts at all. But if I go out and I'm like, in a store and I start, the other day I'm at the new job and I don't have the slip-proof shoes and I can't afford them. So my Russian boss, she's awesome, love Lena, says, oh, here, you can have and she gives me these like slip-on rubber things that go over your shoes. So now you don't have to buy the, no. It's a fast food place. There's grease everywhere. Even after you mop, there's grease everywhere. Even after I change the filter and in the fryer and clean all the it's still dirty. It's just nature of the beast, folks. So I go into the freezer, I grab a couple boxes, and as I'm coming out, as you know, you have to have the rubber mats on the bottom of the freezer, and this is not learning this just now. I've been working in kitchens since I was 16. If you don't have the rubber mats on the outside of the freezer, you're going to slip and fall. That's just the way things are. Anyway, it took off one of my little slip-on things, and she's like helping me get stuff out of the freezer, and she's looking at me like, what's wrong? As I'm like, extended and bent in half. I'm like, hold on, I'm having a Cinderella moment. Be just a second. And she's like, quickly translated what I said and started belly laughing. And she's like, oh my God, I got to remember that, because that's who I got them from. I'm like, these are great. I've got an extra wide foot. And she's like, me too. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like, just buy shoes. Just go get them at Goodwill. No. I have like a flat chimpanzee foot, and that just is not going to work. I
have a similar problem. I have duck feet. They're short and wide and have a high arch. I can't wear cowboy boots because I can't get my foot all the way into them.
Gotcha.
Because of the arch in my foot is so high. I wear a size 8 triple E, triple wide.
10.5 triple E.
They said, I got duck feet. They're short, they're wide. I'm surprised I don't have webs between my toes.
Yeah, you tried.
And that's why I was a perfect fit for the fire service. I have 13 triple E's.
Jesus.
And so I can stomp out forest fires. That's why they turn me loose. All right, roll the truck in. You, fat boy, jump out, stomp it out. Yes, sir.
Like Dwayne. Oh, my God. He's got like size 14 or 15 shoes. Jesus Christ.
Not me. I've always had small feet. And because my feet are unusually shaped, I have a hard time finding shoes that are comfortable. Well, I can now, but I learned to not like shoes. I only ever put on shoes when I don't have a choice. I'll wear flip-flops when I can. I'll wear shoes when I have to. I will go barefoot most of the time.
I really fell in love with New Balance. I didn't want to be stuck in old man shoes. But after working in kitchens and retail and running around in offices and then doing Ren Fair and then doing haunted houses and then all the other crap and then my dad taking us to all the Indian ruins in the state and all that other crap, I got plantar fasciitis. It's never been diagnosed, but if you read the stuff, yeah, I keep crutches in the house. I haven't had a flare-up in about 2.5 years, but I don't want one.
Thankfully, my feet are in fairly good shape for the
Lucky
abuse
you.
I put them through. I have Flintstone feet. I walk around everywhere, indoors and outdoors, barefoot.
So funny you said that.
I have a layer of skin on the bottom of my feet. I can walk on glass.
A callus.
There's
You're like
glass in my foot. Did it cut you? No, it didn't go all the way through.
You're like a hobbit. You're like a hobbit.
I feel the same way about pants. I wear shorts 24/7, 365. I work in an airplane hangar next to the river, and in the wintertime it gets cold, and there are people that'll come in there bundled up and shivering, and they see me roll in my cargo shorts. They're like, man, we ain't fucking with you. You're a bad man.
What's wrong with you? No, I got like one of those weird like 31.5-inch inseams, so I either look like I'm about to grow or, oh, you're wearing your dad's pants today. Look at you. Like if I get a 34, they're like pulling over. Yeah, shut up.
I learned this in the SCA that when you're out at night and you're cold, as long as you keep your upper body warm, your legs don't get cold. That's how you can wear a kilt out at the war at night, and it doesn't really bother you.
Those Scots, they weren't fucking around, the Scotsmen. They know better.
The other thing that helps at the war to keep you from feeling cold is if you happen to be hanging out with the crazy Norwegians. Okay. Because we make glug, and then that stuff is really good. Right up until the point it really starts to take effect, like, 1 o'clock in the morning.
We had our we had a pretty potent brew that the other guys started calling it Jingo juice.
Jingo juice.
You start with a 10-gallon igloo cooler. You take a 175 of Smirnoff, a 175 of Bacardi, and a fifth of Everclear, and you put it in there. You take a 1-gallon jug of concentrated Costco fruit punch mix that makes 6 gallons. Pour it in there. Put 2 2-quart bottles of grape juice, 2 2-quart bottles of orange juice, 2 2-quart bottles of apple juice, 2 pounds of cut fruit, and maybe a couple of pounds of ice, and stir it with an oar. It tastes like Skittles, and it slaps like God.
I can feel the vomit racing to the top of my throat.
I'd tell people, sip this, and I'd get the manly men. They'd get a mug of it, and they'd like, I was like, slow down. Oh, this ain't shit. And then 5 minutes later, they're blowing it up in the
drink. Yeah,
they're blowing it up in the weeds. It's like you just wasted. And
once you got to Everclear, I'm like, no, I'm out. That's no.
It was legendary.
I hear that. I believe you.
Oh, one time, instead of using the Smirnoff and the Bacardi, we used Stoli, and we used Pirate dark rum.
These are like
it wasn't as strong, but it was way. No, it's not spiced rum. It's just dark rum.
Just normal rum.
I don't care for spiced rum other than Sailor Jerry. It's the only spiced rum I like.
These are all the ingredients in the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster that they would make at cons and stuff.
Blow your mind.
I remember the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blasters and Romulan Ale. Romulan Ale, which was basically Everclear with blue food coloring in it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't need to throw that up.
Dave's dad used to pull out, he had this big cauldron. And so,
excuse me,
in the spring, what he would do is he would invite everybody over, and he would start making the glug in the spring. He didn't drink it in the spring. It was cooked over a fire out in the back in this cauldron. And it was, it was grape juice, and he would throw in nuts and lingonberries and all kinds of stuff. And he would cook it and be out there we'd be out. It was usually a 2 case of beer day because everybody would be hanging around and you'd cook it, and then you'd take all the berries and nuts and everything, and we'd scoop them out. You'd put them in the baggies and put them in the freezer, and then you would take all of the glug and he would put it into bottles, casks, and he put it into the storage shed. And of course, the war was always in February, so it fermented. And then you would bring it out, and at the war, you'd put it back into the cauldron. You'd warm it up over the fire, and you would ladle it into horns, preferably, and you scoop off all the berries and nuts and everything, and you pass that around like an hors d'oeuvre. And the people that didn't drink were getting just as blotto because they were eating the berries and nuts.
This is all from Captain Theo. You know, that's all Theo, Paul, and the grog, and then that went over to Tatton and Frenchie, and then Jeff and Chris Rogowski did it for years and years and years, where it's Captain Morgan's and Juicy Juice and fruit, and then you let it ferment in the refrigerator for like 2 months.
I'll tell you that the jungle juice we made, they called it Jingo juice because mine packed a punch like other people never did.
Did you hear your own list of yes? Signs point. I'll take yes for 500, Alex.
We stored up 2 gallons of it for the next year. It takes on near hallucinogenic properties after it's sat around for a year.
So basically, you were making absinthe.
I am both scared and intrigued. I'm intrigued and scared.
We're going to have to come up with a word. We'll work on that.
See, the problem, the thing now is Lunk makes mead. So every year or so, he makes a new batch of a different kind of mead. So one year he did strawberry mead. One year he did it with lingonberries, and one year he did, so he does different meads. He would store the bottles and then bring them out, and I think he had one that he had stored for a few years that got nice and smooth and hit like you were basically French kissing a freight train.
I love you and this. Mead. Okay. They don't taste the same. They're not prepared the same. They're drastically different. But the effects of mead, especially like in a crock pot where you're ladling it into a vessel, mead and Long Island iced teas have the same effect. This is delicious. This is wonderful. This is great. Hold on, I have to go to the bathroom. Whoa, who the hell is turning the earth on me? And then you have to have help walking to urinate. So, yeah. Oh, wore my Scarecrow shirt for Halloween. Halloween.
Mead is my favorite liquid valium.
I have never been fond of mead because at the end of the day, it is a form of wine, and I've never been a big fan of wine either.
Yeah, I like mead over most wines because it doesn't have, and I'm not a wine aficionado.
I would prefer mead to wine, but both of them have that. But really, I'm retired from drinking. I kind of had to health-wise.
We'll drink for you. It's okay.
I had my. It's been a difficult. The past 5 days have been very difficult. I won't go into details here because of the individuals involved. But I had myself a nice Redbreast 12 this evening with my cigar.
Well done. So, eat, drink, and be merry, or tomorrow we die. 100% pure bar, folks. Like it's subscribed.
I learned the hard way that rum and the diabetes don't mix.
Yeah.
Rum is the purest form of sugar you can get, and I had several Hard Rock Las Vegas rum and cokes one afternoon, and 2 days later my blood sugar hit 400, at which point I decided I was done drinking.
Yeah.
Other than an occasional beer. Hard liquor, I've got some great bottles of hard liquor up in my cabinets that I'm never gonna drink again.
Little John used to bring me Cuban rum. He had friend of his that was
Cuban?
Cuban medicine man.
Whoa,
So he used to go back and forth to Cuba. In the days when it was allowed, he used to go back and forth to Cuba because he had special dispensation. And he used to bring back a bottle of this Cuban rum, and he would bring back a box of mixed Cuban cigars. He could get 3 or 4 different ones, and he would bring them back. And the rum that he brought back, when you smelled it, it smelled like the most pure Canadian maple syrup. It was that light, simple, that nice mapley tone and the sweetness, but it wasn't sick, and it didn't have that sharpness that some of the stuff you get, some of the Captain Morgan and whatnot.
The rum I like is called Pirate, Pyrat. It comes in a bottle that looks like a Patron bottle, and it's kind of like the Crown Royal of rum. It's not top shelf, but it's a cut above the average. I might still have the bottle in my cabinet. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Crown Royal is about the most expensive whiskey I will ever buy, but I will never ever drink cheap whiskey again because that is a recipe for instant asshole. Just add alcohol. So I have to do bourbon or vodka or beer is great, but the problem with alcohol, if you're drinking every day more than 5 drinks, you have a problem. You need to scale that back. If you're drinking just a couple drinks, that's fine. But what the problem with drinking is, I want to be here. So you drink and drink and drink, but you're only here and you're not happy with that. No, dude, I want to be here. Well, then I better drink 5 more drinks to be here because I'm here. Yeah, it does kind of look like a Patron.
Yeah.
Patron! Yeah, tequila is everyone has a never again alcohol. Tequila is mine. We're just smelling it. That smells like vomit. No. Drink this. That tastes like vomit. Thank you.
Oh, I tried to pull the cork out of the bottle and the cork broke.
Uh-oh.
There's still cork blocking the top of the bottle. But I can smell the rum through the cork.
Yeah.
Rum is delicious.
See, mine is, I'm whiskey and bourbon and scotch.
Yeah, see, now you're here, and this is a dangerous pee in your pants area where you don't want to be there and yelling at everybody and all that. I just wanted to be here, but now I'm here, and I'm out in public, or I'm hiding in my house. And that's why marijuana is better, because, okay, I'm here, and this is good. We should try this bizarre food combination at 2 a.m. That's a great idea. I know, me. That's great, me. And the next thing you know, you're in the kitchen. Sorry, go ahead with scotch and whiskey. And you were saying, Rob, I cut you off. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, my thing is I like whiskey. So that would be bourbon, whiskey, and scotch. And they all fall into the same. The only time they get a different name is based on what was in the mash. Otherwise, it's the same process, the same fermentation cycles. And then you get a slight difference sometimes in how they get, if they get filtered or how they might get aged. And so for me, I've enjoyed that. If you were talking about beer, I've never been a beer fan with the sole exception of Guinness. I enjoy Guinness, but because I enjoy scotch and all the rest of that stuff, Guinness falls along those similar lines.
Yeah.
Guinness is so much more than beer.
Guinness.
Beer has always been my thing. I've always preferred beer to hard liquor. I like my favorite beers are the skunky beers in the green bottle, like Grolsch and Beck's.
Heineken. And, Mickey's.
Heineken is horrible beer.
Yeah. Well, they're American beers. American beers are fine. I don't want to be like Budweiser and Coors because I drank gallons of them. Obviously, it was okay.
The best Pilsner out there is an Italian one called Peroni. It's probably $12 a 6-pack, but it's so good.
Hold on, because, again, not trying to be an egomaniac, but trying to make it so that we don't talk about the same topics all the time, because that was a complaint, and here we are talking about the same topic all the time. But in episode 42, you talked about how Budweiser is actually rice beer. And I started
It
thinking
is. It
about
even says so on the can.
Well, no. So if I started thinking about that, and then you dial up the taste buds in your memory banks, and it's like, oh my God, he's right. Budweiser tastes the same as Asahi,
Kirin and Sapporo.
When are they not?
They're rice beers.
Rob, would
That's
you
not
agree?
to say that. That's not to say it's necessarily a bad beer, but
No, I didn't have
I
it in.
drank tons of Budweiser in my life.
I didn't put an alignment on it. I was just simply saying that, oh my God, he's right. These are the exact same beers. Budweiser is a rice beer.
I was brought up in a household where Grandpa drank Pearl, which you can't find. You
Wow!
can find Pearl forever. But
Pearl,
he grew up
Stag.
drinking Pearl.
Yeah.
When Pearl went away, Coors became the beer of choice. But he was
The
an old
banquet
rancher.
beer.
That
Yeah.
was exactly. He was an old rancher. That was his thing. When Coors got too expensive, he would get to a point where he would force himself to drink Hams or High Life if he had to.
Yeah.
Hands
And
is
so-
horrible beer.
But Dad was in the Air Force, and he was all over the world, so he got to drink all kinds of interesting beers. And he always gravitated towards, he liked the Irish beers and the English beers because he had the most fond memories of his stationing in England at times and then back and forth through many of the different war-torn eras that he got to play in. That was always a jumping off point. So you go in, they'd end up in England for 48 hours before they had to then follow into insert interesting place around the world here. And so he enjoyed that. So growing up, I got to see all kinds of interesting English and Irish and Scottish beers.
So you had a black and tan.
I've had a black and tan. For me, one of the beers that I really enjoyed, it took forever to get, was one that I was introduced to by a very dear friend who we grew up, so we were brothers. It was kind of almost like the joke from Caddyshack. Who is this? Is this one of our kids? Who are you? So you'd be at the house and they would just,
That's your
they just
nephew.
figured-
Yeah.
So Scott was Special Operations Group. So he was in the Marine Corps, and then after he got out of the Marine Corps, he became a contractor and did some interesting things. But he had the opportunity to find Innis and Gunn, which is I believe it's a Scottish beer. But one of the things about it is it's that nice, heavier English style, Scottish style, Irish style beer. But they had, at the time, 3 lines, and what they would do is they would age the beer in either port casks, whiskey casks, or Scotch barrel. And so it had this really nice tone to it, but you couldn't get it here. For the longest time, you could only get it in New York. So when he was living in New York, he would buy a couple of 6-packs and smuggle them across. We used to joke that he was now the bandit because he was bringing beer across the country.
That's too funny.
And it was really an interesting beer, but it was one of those you could buy a 4-pack in the United States for $12 or whatever the hell it was when you could get it. And
well, it's interesting too because Europeans and Americans have 2 vastly different views on drinking, especially the young. Like when you're young, you drink to get smashed, and then when you're older.
In Germany, beer is like water. We would watch the construction crews when they were redoing some of the barracks. We'd watch the construction crews. They'd show up early. They'd work for 3 hours. They'd stop. They'd sit down. They'd have a beer. Then they'd go back to work. And then they'd stop and they'd have a beer and a sandwich. And then they'd go back to work. And we're talking the big half-liter German beers, not the little 12-ounce American bullshit.
It's funny you mention that. When Grandpa worked for the city of Glendale 1,000 years ago, he worked in the city manager's office, and they used to have meetings at the Coors facility, Glendale, because they had a courtesy room. And so they would go, and now this was in the 60s, so they would go in there, and the city would have meeting, and they might have had, different city groups would come in there. So the council might be in there, or planning and zoning might be in there. And that was the thing, is they would go to the courtesy room because they could draw a beer and have the meeting.
Yeah.
And he said many a time they went there and enjoyed themselves at the courtesy of the local brewer.
Yeah. It's a different world. A stocked bar used to be standard office equipment and furniture. Now it's, what's wrong with you? The problem is that it's dangerous, though, because ex-friend, ex-boss, ex-coworker, no longer with us, but hey, tomorrow we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to, let's get going, and we're doing mortgages. It's like, okay, hey, come on, you wanted to go for a walk. Oh, I'm not feeling good. Okay. Oh, I'm going to skip today. Okay. Get to the office at 9:10. Dude, 11 o'clock a.m., the Johnsons are here. They want to sign the refi. Oh, no, I won't be coming into the office today. Why, are you still feeling bad? And then all of a sudden the truth slipped out. Oh, no, there's been drinking. I can't make it into the office today. You're going to let a $400,000 deal go because you've been upset. So now I got to scramble to figure out how to do this. Figure out how to do your boss's job in less than a minute. Go!
Yep.
Hell, my boss doesn't know how to do my job.
I love that. That's a common thing. A lot of people don't figure out what you do before they judge you. Because I was getting written up by HR in the last job, and they're like, why did you do this? And then I went through this whole list. I'm like, at this time. Do you read the daily log that I send you every day? No. Do you have any fucking clue what I do here all day long? No. 3 o'clock for the next 2 minutes, and they're just like, that's why you pay me the money you pay. That's why I make more money than housekeeping and more money than Bell and more money than the only people who make more than me is prop ops, because I don't know how to take an air conditioner apart. Everything else they can do, yeah. Plumbing, all that carpentry, take the window out, fix the lock, got that. But
the cool thing for me is that my boss knows he doesn't know how to do much of my job.
He knows.
And so he mostly leaves me alone to do it.
Yeah.
Well, we're a union shop, and he is not union. He is management, so he is corporate side. From him up is corporation. Below him, we're a union shop.
Yeah.
And so the real authority above me is my crew chief.
Oh, I saw that.
Union is like HOA. It's great.
And hell, even my crew chief doesn't know how to do my job.
Union is like HOA. When it's in your favor, it's fucking awesome. When it's against you, oh my God, I fucking... Because, yeah. So I know several people that are unionized at their employment center. I don't want to say career, because that's lucid in Arizona. What's your career? No, this is Phoenix. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 6 months. You've had so many jobs. Well, a lot of them have been temp, and I tried to stay on, and then we want to keep you. That's awesome, but we don't have the money. I understand. Thank you for letting me know, and I'll start looking.
I was very fortunate to get the job I got. Union has its downside. There are some people that we pull some dead weight, but overall, the benefits outweigh the penalties.
Yeah.
I make more money now doing what I do. I have worked way harder for a third of the money that I'm making now.
Yeah. It sucks, too, because that's the curse and beauty of capitalism, because I'm in full support of it, but I've never made a lot of money, and especially what's happened to me in the last 2 years.
I
got $3 in the bank, but, I mean...
I won't say I make a lot of money. I make a lot more money than I used to.
Compared to your scale of living, yeah. But I would have to say that it's hard, too, because you find a job that you just love, but it doesn't pay enough for you to survive.
Yeah, that was me when I worked for Clear Channel Communications.
Yeah, and I want to stay here and help you because this is great, but it's like the whole the haunt thing freaked me out now, because now in 2025, I'm making double what I made as an actor. Back then in the late 90s and the early 2000s, you only made $8, $8.50 if you were very good. And now and then they'd throw you cash. You did really good tonight.
At Clear Channel, where I worked until 2006, I topped out at $9 an hour, working for one of the biggest radio station corporations in the country. But, you know, it's Cheap Channel Communications. They're not Cheap Channel anymore. They changed their name to iHeart Money.
Yeah.
iHeart Money. The world that we grew up in is turned upside down. If you were an adult male and you said, I work at, pick one, Arby's. In the 80s, you would have been like, what happened? What's wrong? Did you get divorced? I'm sorry to hear that. Are you starting over? No, they've got a great plan and dental and vision and all that. You would just look at the guy sideways. Now in 2025, I work at Arby's. Are they hiring? Can I talk to your boss? Where can I send my resume? Because one thing my dad said, pride is for the very young and for the very old. Everybody else just goes to work. And hearing that as a kid, I was like, God, that's fucking brutal. But then growing up, it's like, pride is for the very young and the very old. Everybody else just goes to work. Fucking shoulder it and pay your bills. Do what you need to do. You know,
it's one of those truths. It's just like at every job you're ever going to work, unless your family name is on the door, you're going to start off pushing a broom.
Yeah, you're going to come in at a base somewhere, and don't expect to make your way up within that organization. What you've got to do is now you've got to build yourself to a point where you can go to the next organization and say, I've already done all of this. Now I know this. You've got a position that you're looking for somebody who knows this. I can do it. I'm ready to jump in. And if you get past the gatekeepers, then now that's your new base, because now you're the new guy there. You're starting out at whatever their level is. You've got to make that same push for however many years. The days of 20 years in an organization are rarer than they used to be, where somebody could go and career with an organization.
I just at 17. This is by far the longest I've ever worked at a job.
Longest job I've ever had was the Renaissance Festival, 91 to 2015. I didn't always do the same thing, but almost every year I was out there. Now, there were years I wasn't out there for various reasons, but I agree 100%, and it makes me take what you guys were saying to the job I'm at now, even this morning. So there's a lady that doesn't speak any fucking English, and it's one of those, I'm going to go out of my way to show you that I like everybody that works here except for you. Okay, lady, this isn't my first rodeo. Give it to me. And I've been working in kitchens since I was 16, so let's have it. So the first day we worked together, by the end of the day, she was still being a bitch, but was actually like holding the door for me, helping me out, instead of being completely indifferent. Now today, she gets there, she's super late. Everybody was supposed to be there at 5:30. At 5:40, I'm still banging on the door because I don't realize that there's nobody inside. So now they've put her in charge of me. So all day long it's Spanish, but it's one of those, this is just one more thing where I have to prove myself to you so you can stop treating me like a second-class citizen in a fucking fast food place. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've worked some very thankless jobs in my life. Like I said, I managed to work myself into a position where I work now, where I try to, any job, I try to learn as much as I can, because knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more you know.
Once she figured out that I left my phone in my truck, and I was there to work. I'm here to be your friend. I'm not here to win people over. I'm here to cut up bacon and wash dishes and put boxes away. And so I'd even yelled at her one time, oh, we need to move all these. Basically, I understand a lot more Spanish than I can speak, and I'm getting the gist of what you're saying. But when you go too fast and when you're giving me specific stuff, dude, I'm lost. I was lost at the third sentence you said in Spanish. But then after a while, I'm like, you need me to move this? You didn't tell me earlier. We didn't. And I started yelling at her, and she's like, okay, never mind. I'm like, yeah, I thought so. Stop it. But I've noticed that there's a lot of people like that in life that you have to, like, prove myself. Dude, who the fuck are you? This is work. You don't own this place. You didn't want... Because that's the... I agree with you that you should have to come in at the base level and work your way up to management or, supervisor and manager. Because you were talking about the best job you ever had, and I've had a lot of those, and I've had a lot of amazing coworkers, and the more coworkers, the better. But I would have to say that one of my... I have a lot of favorite jobs, but one of them was running the call center where I had 28 call. That was the one where I would torture them with bagpipes if the calls got on a hold time over 5 minutes. I was the only one with speakers, so I would just crank up bagpipes. And we were selling frames, not lenses, to ophthalmologists, obstetricians, all the Walmart Optical was our number one customer. They were on the phone all day long with them. But that job was awesome, but I lost my job because another company bought that job, and I trained my replacement. And she was really cool. It was fine. But that kind of sucks. You're going to go to the block at this time, but here, teach this person everything you know. Okay.
At Clear Channel, they replaced me with a computer program, but they kept me on for a year to help get the computer program set up and running properly. Then at which point they offered me another position in the company, but at that point, I had worked hard to get to where I was, and what they were going to offer me was back to square one. And I'm like, no, I can't do that anymore. I'm out.
No, Gail wanted me to go. My old manager loved me, and she's the one that moved back to New Jersey and then ended up at a job next to my mother-in-law. That was a surreal experience because Lonnie called Christine immediately, and she's like, do you know a woman named Patty McGoldrake? That's Bill's ex-boss. She sits next to me. What the fuck? It was like a Matrix moment. Like, how is that even possible? Whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean to say names on them. But that was a really cool job. But then I got the new manager, and at first it's like, I'm going to tell you how. And she was kind of boss babish, and it's like, you don't need to come in all, fire and brimstone. I'm here to work with you. I'm your subordinate. Tell me what to do. You don't have to, prove it. I already, But they kind of, she's got to survive, so she's going to get in bed with the devil against me. And then that was surely he's playing bagpipe music, so they called the owner down and but I'm like, do you want me to stay on as a? But they back then, this was '99, they wouldn't promote Leticia because she was Hispanic, and I'm like, that is the most fucked up racist thing I've ever heard, and recently in the last 5 years of the corporation, because normally it's like, you got somebody that speaks Spanish, and because they normally are very valuable, in a corporate setting because you have a skill that no one else has. And she knew everything, and she was my right hand there for about a year, maybe it was a little over a year. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. So, but yeah. That was a cool job because there was no time for I never sat around and did nothing. I got there, made sure everybody was working, got everybody set up. Okay, a couple of these problems, solve those. Go out to the warehouse. Check that out. Make sure everybody's happy. Come back to the, I had like a whole routine all day long. Missed that.
No, I worked for Clear Channel for 7 years, and it was a lot of fun. While I worked there, I also did some promotion work for the local sports radio that Clear Channel owned, Extra Sports 910, and I was a newscaster at 1410 AM KFNN Financial
Really?
News Radio.
Good for you.
I wrote and broadcast my own newscasts.
Wait a minute, 1410, isn't that the one on 7th Street near Highland?
Yep.
In Phoenix?
It's right there next to the gay high rise.
Why do we always go to that?
What? Trust me, I used to deliver pizza there. Best tips ever.
Yeah.
I deliver there. And I think, it's a whole high rise full of mostly gay men.
Yeah, you're going to get tips.
And I was going to get tips. I got hit on. They loved me there, but they all knew that I didn't bat for that team. But and I never felt uncomfortable there.
No, I don't. You don't get freaked out. Oh, I'm going to hit on you. Like I've had like a couple friends that and not only that, it's like, dude, I wish I was gay. Some old queen, some rich millionaire queen would have scooped me up a long time ago. I'm sorry, I'm like obsessed with women, especially redheads. So it's not just. It's not. I'm not into dudes. I'm sorry. And this took a weird turn, but
is what it is.
Yeah,
we don't kink shame.
I don't.
Here.
Yeah, I don't. You're into that, and that's like, awesome. Go for it. I don't want to be involved. I'm sorry.
I call it the freak. Everybody has their freak. A lot of people will go their entire lives and not know what their freak is, or even that they have a freak. But there's that one thing that makes you go, that most people will go, dude, you're weird.
What's wrong with you?
But, and a lot of people, like I said, will go their whole life and not know they have a freak, and then all of a sudden they'll see something they never saw before, and it's like, that kind of makes me feel funny.
Yeah, we can't.
Didn't know I was into that.
Yeah, let's not. So Halloween coming up. It's going to be great. I don't know if I'm going to be. I don't know what this is weird. I've never been like hired by a haunted house without having to do an audition or come in and talk to the entertainment director, the casting director, usually the crew, one of the crew, usually a supervisor, and sorry if you guys got time. When I went in '98, I was really intimidated. Not about auditioning, because I had an audition for other stuff, but this is horror, and I'm a comedy person. And D. Sylvester was like, no, it's fine. It's all right. I've already talked to them. It's like, dude, that's not cool. I don't want to go in on it. But you're a talented actor. You can do this. This is like the dichotomous opposite of what the fuck I'm normally doing. It's bad jokes and jumping out. I juggle and tell bad jokes. It's a huge difference. I also hawk. I stand in front of the shop and try to get people to come in. This is so the opposite of that. I'm trying to scare the shit out of them. I'm trying to make them pee their pants, which back then we used to get money for. And so I go into this thing, and it's really weird, and Ted Kelly is like, no relation. And he's like, you're going to be great. But you're the first Ren Fair guy I've ever had. Or maybe I was just, Ted could tell you exactly what he said. But it's like, I don't know. We're going to put you in the first room. Okay? I don't know what that means. And in haunted house terms, that's tough. First room, last room, 2 hardest rooms. You got to get them all excited, get them ready to go. You don't have to necessarily scare them, but you got to hype them up. And you got to give them a good send-off. You got to be the last room. They got to remember it forever. The guy chased me. So, okay. So the first couple groups, I'm terrible. I don't even know what I'm more afraid of them than I'm more afraid of not putting on a good show than I am of a. Meanwhile, they got like 50 more rooms of people that are just going to torture them. So, or that's probably an exaggeration. Probably closer to 30. So I get through that second year in 99, I don't know what to expect. And we go to the Best Western at Rose Garden in I-17. right by the giant Castle Boutique store. Not a sponsor. God, I wish they were, though. Anyway, so let go with your inner perv, like Rob was saying. Let it out, as long as you're not hurting people or under the age. Anyway, so I go there. 99's weird because I pull up in my fighting for custody for Hannah. Jen and I are at odds. I'm doing this haunted house thing for extra work. I'm working at an office during the day, and I go up, and this is so stupid now. I get out, and Christine and I get to the parking lot at the same time for the auditions at the same moment, and I see that she's got New Jersey license plate. She's in a 2-door Saturn. Love Saturns. They're awesome. They're a pain in the ass to work on because you need special tools, but they look cool, and they're a reliable car. Hers and the other ex, Jen, Hannah's biological mother, owned 2 of them, and I drove them around forever, and I like them. No. I know they don't exist anymore, but no harm to the Saturn. So I'm like smitten with her immediately, but dude, I'm trying to get a job, and no. So I walk in, and Rev is there, and Jason and Diesel, everybody's there. And they're all in this big group, and they're calling people one by one. It's finally my turn. I go in there. Now, this is where it gets really weird. So it's everybody I've worked with before and one new guy. Everybody is, hey, oh, you were the guy. And then one guy going, oh, dude, do I know you? It's one of those. I'm sorry. Did I fuck your sister? What's the problem here? What's going on? Why are you scowling at me? You don't even fucking know me, dude. And this is a recurring theme through all of being an actor, where they said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I don't know. What? It's 22-acre haunt. Takes you 2 hours to get there. There's 160, 180 cast members. Oh my God." What do you want to be? I don't know. What's going on? And they hand me this stapled stack of papers, and I start reading it, and it's the character explanation for every character in the whole haunt. Because Dark Side Apocalypse 99 was you went up I-17, turned off Carefree Highway, went for a while, and it was basically Cowtown, where in the 1920s they were making Tom Mix cowboy movies. So this place not only has coyotes running around at night, but this place is haunted as fuck. We're constantly seeing people that aren't there. We're constantly seeing all this weird shit and hearing all these. I mean, we're in a haunted house, but after the first night, you know the rhythm of this place. You know what makes noise at what time, because that sets off this. You have your bit, you send them on your way. When you hear stuff out of the ordinary when customers aren't there, what the fuck was that? And then everybody has to go look. So this guy is mean mugging me, and then I come back, and Kyle and Ted and all of them that know me are like, which character do you want to be? Do you want to be? Okay. And I'm like, honestly, this guy in the apocalypse sounds really cool, but I don't really want to cut my hair for a haunted house. I mean, if it's for a movie, that's one thing, or a play, but for a month, I've been growing this for, hell, in real life, the last time I had a haircut was 2006. I told the kids at work that, and they flipped out. Anyway, so I'm like, I like this one, and I like this other character, but honestly, I found out that there was King of the Asylum, and that sounds really funny, and I think I have the right clothes. I would like to play that character. And everybody but the one guy scowling, they all bust up in laughter, and they're like, we knew you were going to pick that character. We brought your throne from last year up the hill and put it in that room, and that room is extra large because we know you like to talk, and you want to... So Ted from 99 on started designing the haunts of what we call the pinball effect, where you kind of run them through and dude effect. Okay, they got to catch their breath. We'll build a bigger room and we'll put Bill in there. And then we'll have him go through the... because I can't stay in my room. I want to get them with 2 or 3 ambush scares before they get into my room, get 1 ambush scare in my room, and then hopefully if I'm working with another actor, let that actor get the main star scare in the room, and then I will exit the room and then try to get 1 or 2 more ambush scares in the hallway. I want you to get your, back then, $20 worth. Now it's like 30. So it's like, that's why it's like weird, like not auditioning, because Eric didn't like me at first, and they're like, you're going to be a lead. Well, okay. That means you're a supervisor now. Here's your 10, coworkers that you got to babysit, which, okay, well, that makes sense. I'm not going to be in my room anyway. I might as well be checking on all my fellow actors, which I'm doing anyway. You don't get any more pay, but you get the rank, and that's something.
Prestige.
There you go. But you also got to make sure everybody is doing their job, which becomes a pain in the ass because 70% are, and then 30% are Billy Badass, and oh yeah, dude, I am in charge now. Rank and file, get your shit together. Pick up your fucking cover pile.
Make it happen.
So after a while, he didn't even come in and check on me once he found out how, dude, I'm not here as an egomaniac. I want to give a really good show to the customer. So 2000, they go, it's going. Okay, it's not going. Fuck, we're going to Utah. I am not going to Utah for 2 weeks. No. We'll put you up in a room. No. So I didn't do it in 2000, and then 2001 to 2004, Alice Cooper's Nightmare. Whoa, really? Alice Cooper's Nightmare. Do we get to meet Alice? Actually, no. He's on tour in Europe by the time we start the show. Fuck! But Todd McFarlane's going to be there the first year, and he's really into it. Really? He brought all of these props that he got from the that he takes to cons. So we have like a 6-foot spawn, and we have a giant Violator demon mode out front, and McFarlane loved it. He was like a recurring customer. He was there all the time. He brought all these people because I guess Kopelman became the number 1 guy after Ted worked with him in I think 96 or 97. Cliff could tell you the exact. I don't remember, and it was before my time because I start in 98 and Ted and Kopelman are working together because they worked together and then they didn't work together and then they came together for Alice Cooper, and then I think Ted. We get Ted on the show, but by the time you get to Alice Cooper's Nightmare, dude, this I mean, it's only like 20 rooms, but we had a really tight cast the first year. Like Christine had stole Eddie Izzard's act, Babies on Racks. So we would hear the electric table go off where this guy was being electrocuted on a table. So the dude operating the pneumatic, he had a line or two, and then he flipped the switch, and here's this dummy being electrocuted. And like Ted said, and it was all fenced off, do not get near this thing. If you put your hand down and the metal shackles with the mannequin, and that'll break your hand. That'll break like every fucking bone in your hand, because that's like, 60 pounds of pressure under all that, because it throws its feet up and then it slams it down on this metal table. It's loud, and it's like 40 steps in front of us. It's very close. So we'd all be, Paul and Kurt and Christine and I would be talking in a corridor where we could all meet. And as soon as that thing went off, we would scatter like roaches. And Christine had her baby doll, and the customers would come around she's in like an alley. It wasn't even a proper room. And there was a big 6-foot spawn with light up eyes from the movie. But you couldn't really see it because as soon as you come around the corner, she shoves the Betsy Wetsy with all of its guts ripped out of it. Only 9 months to marinate. Tastes just like chicken. Baby's on racks. It's the other white meat. And women would laugh, and men, she's like, I'm all pissed off. I'm not getting any screams. I'm not scaring them. Oh, baby, you don't see their faces when they come out of your area, into my area, into a butcher room. You don't understand, okay? You're delving deep into the psychology of men that hurts on a level that we don't even know exists until we're faced with it. And this is the reality of life. If a woman hears a woman joke about eating her own baby, that's funny. They get a laugh almost every time. Only a super ultra mega Karen is going to take offense to that, and all the other Karens are going to look at her and go, shut up, it's a joke. And then she's going to start laughing. But if it's just a bunch of women, they're just going to giggle about it. A man or a group of men. This goes back all the way to being breastfed and being changed as a toddler and everything else of that. And the fact that their own sweet, loving, doting mother would even consider eating them is just absolutely out of the question. Or even worse, if I get a wife one day and we happen to squirt out a couple kids and she eats one of them, that's off the scale it's beyond the Greek tragedy level of terror. And I said, you don't look at their faces when they come out of their room. They immediately turn away from you and rush away. She's like, you're right. The women laugh. The men can't get away from me fast enough. I don't even get all my lines out. They look like they're about to throw up when they come out of your room. That's why they won't go in my room. They won't go anywhere. They literally Blair Witch it in this little corridor that they can't go through the fire exit. That's not allowed. They've already been told that. They don't want to go into my room because I found out on the first night I was the only room back then with a ceiling. They won't go into a room with a ceiling when they've just been in a warehouse. There's this whole, I'm not going in the mouse trap kind of, cat in the trap. So I'm like, they're fucked up on a level that you don't understand. You're doing a lot more damage than you ever could just jumping out. You're hitting them, right in the the first year of development. So, 2002, I miss it. Christine says, I'm about to have a baby. I don't really want to go into the ER and have you downtown in makeup. I can't argue with that logic. I will not do 2002. So, 2002, on a bad night, I came back in 2003 and I auditioned. And I met this one guy who was a friend of Kurt's, and I didn't know who the hell he was. And he and I, it's like, oh, great, a new best friend. Okay. And we start trading stories back and forth. And they're doing the other auditions, and other people are there, and all of a sudden, I think it was Cliff or one of the, get your, Bill Kelly, get your ass in here. And all of a sudden, this guy, we go from laughing and smiling and everything. What'd he say your name was? You know what? We skipped that part. We've been talking for 20 minutes, and we didn't even do the introductions. I'm sorry, my name is Bill, and the guy stands up and he walks away. What the fuck was... Okay, this is some, meeting somebody on a subway street, a homeless person. Never mind, it's the haunt. It takes all kinds. And I look at, I think it was Cliff, and I go, what the... And he's like... And I go into there's a little private room in Alice Cooper's town where you could... It's like the VIP room. So Ted and Kyle are down there with, Cliff and Jason and... Dude, I just had the weird... No, don't worry about that guy. Okay. And then I get the whole backstory. It's on... Anyway. But that's just the weird, what the fuck? And then that guy was a real big problem. I'm not proud of this. It's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. And I still feel bad. Why? Because I'm a human being, and my mother beat a conscience into me at a very young age. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, it's 2003. We're rocking and rolling. I am a crematorium attendant. This is what I got from Kyle and Ted. This room sucks. We need you to make it funny. Dude, This is a red brick room that's shaped like a Roman arch. The middle of the room has a stove with a protrusion with a fake skeleton that the pneumatic doesn't always work and only comes out, so it's not even the middle of the rib cage up. We wanted this room to be really spectacular, and we didn't have time to do it. And this is what we were able to do with the time we had, and we fucked it up, and we put you in this room because this room is terrible, and we need you to tell jokes the entire time. Okay. Awesome.
Make it up as you go.
The problem is the room behind me is awesome. It's very well done. It's a mausoleum, and the pneumatic in that room is amazing. So what happens is that the guy, you have to move actors around, and they, like before, you can cover 2 or 3 rooms at once. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I want to do that every night. I'm not 25. I'm in my, So they have me working the crematorium and the mausoleum. And the problem is that this is brilliant in the way Ted and Kyle designed the maze. So, as a customer, you have to come through. Now, I've already harassed you in the maze twice before you even got to my room. Now you're in my room and you're like, oh, it's this fucking guy again. Yeah, come on in, let's have it. So you're liking it so far? Is it a good time? Which is probably what I'm going to pitch to them, but they're going to make me do, I've been out of the game for 10 years. I don't know what to expect for 13th floor. And it's a new show. It's not mine. And we'll see what happens. It should be fun. But I would... Look, we got this crappy special effect. And they would you're right, that is crappy. But the artwork is amazing. Ted is and they were like, oh, yeah, it really looks like a burned... Because Ted and Kyle are amazing. They love their craft. For Ted, the haunted house is just not running around and scaring. It's the sound, the colors, the lighting, the ambiance, the way the room is shaped, what's in the room. And sometimes you just get the actors you get, but for the most part, he's very picky on which actor is in which room. For years, I want to be a clown. No, you're too damn sweaty. I'm not wasting the makeup. We got this guy for a clown. Okay, yeah, he does a really good job. I'm not going to argue with that. So the problem is that they walk around. I mess with them. They have to walk down a hallway that's probably about 25 or 30 steps. I've got a maybe 10 step, and I'm in the next room. So they creep and creep and creep, and they never walk around the corner. They always have one person stick their head, oh, it's the guy from the last room, and then they all relax. Hey, come on, yeah, we're short-handed tonight. Total lie. They didn't hire anybody else on purpose. So now it's the old false psychological haunted house trick. This place where you what are they called, where you bury the body in the mausoleum, the little shelves,
the crypt. So this crypt is fake, this crypt is fake, this crypt is fake, this crypt is fake. Your mind goes, all the other crypts are fake. That's what the human brain does. The problem is the crypt that I'm standing next to, oh, it is not so fake. All the rest of them are behind me. Yeah, it's on the way out. But the one has a very nasty surprise in it. So I basically lull you into a false sense of security. You know that I'm dangerous because I've already scared you twice, but I'm also friendly because I showed you my effect and we had a whole conversation in the last room. So they would go down the hallway, they would come in. Now, this room was brilliant because how you activated the prop was a foot pedal from a guitar. It has a 10-second countdown. About the third group, I got it down to a science. Once I figured out where they were stepping in the room and how long it took them to get to me, because it's different for their pace. They could be really relaxed with me, or they could still be cautious and not trusting me. So by the time they get close to me, all in one motion,
the wood that's painted like the crypt falls down, and they have this like banshee with fangs from the waist up. It comes out on an angle on a hydraulic arm. I would immediately do my woman scream, which I'm not going to do now because it's really loud and it'll blow out my mic and deafen both of you and listeners. And I would throw myself against the wall and do that all at the same time. And really, it's one of those like intake of air screams. Once you get that down in a haunted house, you've got a powerful weapon that you need to sparingly. You don't want to do it next to your coworkers. So after it all happens in one motion, it comes out and it's on a pendulum arm. So by the time it swings back in, the door goes back up. And it's not coming back out again until I step on the pedal. And I would immediately look at them and grab my chest and go, "Did you see that?" So now I just scared the fucking shit out of them, but I followed it up with stupid, innocent, like Emo Phillips, Stephen Wright. Everywhere is walking distance if you have enough time. And that's the beauty of comedy, is comedy and horror, comedy and tragedy. They're symbiotic. Oh, sure, drama has a longer lasting taste. It's got a longer lasting flavor. Comedy is, it's sparse and for the time and colloquial, but there's some things that we just all laugh at, and stuff like that is funny. I literally tricked you into a pneumatic prop, and I knew it was coming, but you didn't. But you already trusted me because you knew that my prop was crap, so you don't expect me to have a good one. Sorry. I love Halloween.
That's the whole thing that I talked about earlier. No, come on through. This is the really crappy horror haunted house. Yeah, this is really shitty. Here's the exit. Go through that exit door. Gotcha.
Please post that on Facebook, dude. That sounds hilarious. I want to watch that. I mean, not now. Obviously, we've got another hour. But I think trick-or-treating is for children. Give it to them. And I don't care. 17-year-old shows up at your door. Give him candy. Be thankful. He could be TPing your house and throwing bricks through your windows. Really. He could be doing all kinds of other stuff. But no, he chose trick-or-treating because he fucking loves it. And he doesn't want to go give it away yet. And haunted houses are for adults. Do not take your kids there. We don't want them there. That's why it says 12, 13, 14 or older. Let them trick or treat. If a kid came through a haunt and I was working there, my act, it's all the fourth wall. It's over. My act isn't much of an act anyway, but I will let the kids set off hey, look, it's all lights and smoke and makeup. I'm a dad. I work in an office during the day. None of this is real. It's okay to be scared. That's what you're paid for. Because most of the parents that bring kids through a haunted house they're just assholes. They're laughing as the kid is like trying to climb, their body to get away from the bad guy.
I'm that asshole. I haven't taken my kids to a haunted house, but we were out trick-or-treating and my oldest was like maybe 6. And she was the only one old enough to be walking around. The others were in the stroller. And this guy had this, basically, it was a volleyball with a handkerchief wrapped around it on a string. And it was just hanging there looking like a ghost. But he had it where he could move it. And he had a sound effect, a ghost sound effect. And as she got her candy and was walking away, as we're walking towards this ball, it drops down in front of her along with the ghostly sound. And of course she freaks. Candy goes flying everywhere and she goes running to her mom out in the street. No. And the guy comes out, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
I'm going to scare you and have traumatize you.
Dude, I'm laughing. Yeah. It's like scaring kids is what Halloween is about.
You didn't hurt her. You obviously knew that you went too far. It's okay. No, I'll let them look behind the scenes. I'll even bring them into another room and watch actors scare adults. I'm like, see, this is when you're an adult, you're going to come to these, and I want you to come to these, and I want you to work here. I want my kids to work at a haunted house, which both of them did. So it's so much therapy. I'm not mad at anybody come November 2nd because I've just let all that out for hours. Because I'm nice when I'm in the room, but in the hallways, I'm not I'm mean. And it's the weird audition thing too, is because after that happened, and then I wanted to do haunts, but it was like, I need you here with the kids, and it's like they got to a time where I wanted to take them trick-or-treating, and so I have the reverse of that, Rob. 1 year, I made a really good Grim Reaper costume, and I asked Ted, and I took the time to really concentrate on my own makeup, and Hannah was really little, and she was small enough to fit into a clown costume that my mom made when I was 7. Down in Tempe. And that year, they turned the lights, the power off for Halloween night on purpose. APS did. It was one of the best Halloweens ever. So I take Hannah trick-or-treating, and she's dressed as a clown, and she goes up to each house. Said, "Oh, trick-or-treat. Oh, you adorable little clown," because her long blonde hair is sticking out, and she's this cute makeup. "Oh, you're so adorable." And as they start to leave, I would yell in my Ren Fair voice, "Happy Halloween!" And they would look at me, and I'm out there smiling. "Oh, my God! That's really good makeup." "Thank you. Come on, Hannah, let's go to the next house." Because I don't even remember where I got the wings. I think who knows. But they're all veiny, and they were painted. They're probably no good now. I mean, that was 100 years ago. I got to go through the boxes. Ed was giving me crap that I haven't decorated my house yet.
Sure.
Like, well, that's kind of hard, I spent my entire life trying to get my father into Halloween, and just when he got into it, then he died. It was like, now I'm not really motivated to decorate. I will, but it's not, I got to, make a whole. We spent all those years making the mutant trash spiders. I gotta dig them out and set them up this year because I haven't done it for years.
You talk about that outfit with going as a Grim Reaper with Hannah as the clown. My buddy Dave, before he died, he came up with a beautiful costume set that we never got a chance to build, and he wanted to do it. He wanted to find somebody who had a daughter, 6, 7, 8-year-old daughter, and you dress her up like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And we were trying to build an alien costume, and the idea was that here's Dorothy with an alien on a leash, and that was her Toto.
Oh, that's a xenomorph alien. That is awesome. You want to hear dark? This is the kind of shit Reverend Fishcrackers Cliff comes up with. He doesn't do it anymore. The vets down in Santan hired him to build and run a haunted house, and his entire cast was children. This is so wrong.
Nice.
This is so wrong. There's a 6-year-old girl that does acting, and she's terrified of the dark and scared of haunted houses, but really kind of wants to do it. So her mother brings her there, and I think the brother was doing it too. We have to bring Cliff up. Well, he's doing a little better. He's able to keep food down. Again, they cut off all his dreadlocks. He's not a happy camper. But, he might have the malls again. But, so, he basically teaches this girl that what we teach all the first-year people, you're the monster now. You live in the darkness. You are the darkness. You control the darkness. The room is yours. He gives her a battery-powered little electric chainsaw. And he puts her in this one area where there's kind of a lull. So it's like the Christine situation. It's not really a room, but it's kind of like a cul-de-sac. And she starts crying when people come in. And immediately they rush over to her. "What's wrong, dear?" "Oh, my daddy, he won't answer me." And "Oh, we got to find your daddy." "No, he won't answer me. He just won't talk anymore." And "Well, why won't he answer you?" And then all of a sudden she would switch and pull out the chainsaw because I cut his head off. And then she would chase these people. The 6-year-old girl is chasing screaming grown men and women. Again, men do not like this crap about kids becoming evil. That just like fucks with their whole men are in control. So I'm the father, I'm the matriarch, or the patriarch. It's all the once the kid goes, Annabelle. Or what's the ballerina movie where she's really a vampire and they go into kidnap her? It was just, you know the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
Men can't handle that shit when it's the same thing with midgets. It just freaks them out. So she becomes a star attraction out in Santan at this haunted house, this little girl. And the haunt ends, and it's the whole off season. And months later, Cliff gets a call from the parents, and how are things? Things are good. How are the kids? Everything's fine. Oh, yeah. No, you don't understand. She's doing this shit all the time to us and strangers. And so he basically created a monster. She's going to be like the greatest haunted house performer in like 10 years. I can't wait to I want to go to the house that she's working at because she's a prodigy. Because it's like you have all these, like Sabin Axel, Rick Skupsky's kid. He's the one that's like done it the longest. As far as like Rick was with one of us, he had a kid. The kid is now an adult. He's an amazing chef too, by the way. That's his profession. But it's like Hannah only did 1 year. My kids pretty much only did like 1 or 2 years. Where I did it a lot. I did Panic Park, I did The Nest, I did Alice Cooper's Nightmare, Rob Zombie, Built Scarizona. So it's like I did a lot of low-paying gigs where the payoff was the human exchange and the energy exchange that I got with the random human, where I either made them bust up laughing or I made a couple people pee their pants. I'll never be as scary as Grody or a lot of the others that I idolize, but, hey, I'm up there. I want to be, just like comic books or this podcast or anything else, I don't want to be better than, I want to be as good as. There's a huge difference.
Comparable to.
There you go. I want to be on the random wandering monster table. Maybe above Bugbear. I don't know yet.
I want to be the tickling ninjas, the one that everybody worries.
What the hell just happened? I don't know, but you lost a bunch of stuff.
So, after the game session on the way home, Chris kept bugging me. So, are we dead? What happens? Are we dead?
Oh my God, wait. I love Chris.
'Cause I can't tell you that.
Hopefully he'll be able to join us. Good, you didn't tell him. Good. Yeah, I love Chris, but yeah, he's that kid that pesters the wizard, the magician at the show. How did you do that? It's a trick, dude. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy it. I gotta know.
I think we'll also find out that as a human being, I'm pretty honest, but as a game master, I will straight up lie to you.
Guilty as
I'll lie to you with a straight face.
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Into the fire. Fire. I am the god of hellfire. Fire. Uh-oh.
Jenner, what is it?
What's wrong?
He's laying next to me, and he's giving me the little whine like, I need all the lovin's, Dad. It's lovin's time, Dad.
He can hear our voices.
Yeah, really. I know they're here. Sorry.
They give pets. Where are they?
We know he wants to pet me. Yes, we do. No, it was so weird. The best one was... so I didn't finish the story. I'm sorry. The guy that stood up and... So then there's this weird, like, posturing thing going on. It's like, dude, we're a team. Don't. I hate... Because, like, once every year, I have a problem with, like, one person. And a couple years, it's ended up in fistfights. But most of the years, it just ends up me being an asshole and yelling. Because you've pushed me to the point of, what the fuck? We're trying to put on a show! Jesus Christ! That's why community theater guys are so absolutely insane. So, here's the thing. At home, I'm pretty territorial. At work, I'm not that doesn't belong to me. This isn't mine. So, Ted tells me that they made a triangle specifically for me in the exit way as a quick hide in between groups, because they know I'm not going to be in my room, and if I can't get to my room, at least I can hide here to jump out. So it's literally a triangle with some vinyl black drape, strips that are about 7 feet, and they hang down almost to the floor. There's a couple inches. Like if you knew somebody was, like, you'd have to like really look to see somebody's shoes. But the problem is you've just come out of the last room, so you're not really paying attention. There's this really annoying guy that's only screaming Spanish at you. We told Ari, it's like, your act sucks. Yell at them in Spanish. Oh, I got a great response. Americans hate being yelled at in foreign languages. If you know one, use it. So, I'm trying to get enough scares. All of a sudden, one night, there's this figure in my area. And I don't mean to be like, oh no, who is it? I'm like, it's one of two people. There's only two people dressed like this. It's either this one guy, it's either dude A or dude B. Now, both dudes are totally welcome to be in my triangle. I'm not, if you want to hide in there and scare, but let me know. Because if you don't tell me, I'm just doing my thing back here. So, the other guy who I have an issue with, but I don't know I have an issue with, but I have an issue with, is hiding in the triangle. And I don't know that. And it's busy. It's like the Saturday before Halloween. It's boom, 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 boom. Probably 1,500 customers, which is a good night if you're just a random haunt. So, okay, cool. I run down the hallway not backwards, me physically. I'm running backwards, and I can hear a group coming, and I stick my hand out, and I run full speed. And what I'm planning to do with my hand is push the vinyl stuff out of the way. The problem is that I hit a hand, and then hit a head, and then that head hits the wall. And I go, oh my God, I'm sorry! But the people are coming. I don't have time to work this out. I immediately run away and go back into my room because there's a group coming down the hallway and there's a group coming into my room, and I was going to try to jump out and scare them, what's called scare them forward, which is a push them forward, get them go, because it's hurry up, we got people behind them. So this guy says something to me, but there's so much noise and he's quiet. I don't hear any of this. And I run away because I didn't, dude, I'm Mr. Safety at work, especially at a haunt, and the last thing I would ever want to do is punch a coworker, especially sucker punch style, where I don't even know you're there and I attacked you. That's not cool. Captain Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, if we fight, we'll be facing each other and you'll be armed. So I run away, and I deal with the people, and I scare them, and I can hear yelling outside of everything that's going on. Somebody that's that guy. So I start to go through, and Cliff walks through my exit, and he's got a huge smile on his face, and he's laughing. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally punched somebody. I quit. I know. No, you don't understand. No, it's fine. No, I didn't mean to do it. No. Ted's not mad at you. It's fine. Everything's fine. Meanwhile, there's like a fight going on in the hallway. And Cliff's 5'10". He's wiry. He's very strong, but he's not a big guy. So I'm pretty sure I can outmaneuver him. So I start to walk, but Cliff is just way faster and more agile than I am. And now I'm getting upset because he won't let me through so I can go and apologize because I don't want to apologize. Dude, I'm sorry. The last thing I want to do is run around punching coworkers. That's not cool. And I start to like grab Cliff and I'm going to turn and just drop him. And he's like, Ted said to stay in your room. And I immediately let him go. And I'm like, okay. Well, he's the guy that signs the paychecks, isn't he? Okay, what? Dude, I don't know. I didn't mean it. He's like, he starts laughing, like belly laughing. And I'm like, who did I punch? Was it this guy or that guy? He's like, you punched that guy. That's not how I wanted this to end. I was trying to fix it. There was no fixing it, dude. I'm like, I didn't mean it. Ted's been waiting for an excuse to fire him. Oh, that's fucked up. Me punching him in the face. No, he did this and this and this and this. Oh, okay. So this is just the getting in a fight with a coworker. The cherry on the cake. He didn't do it. He didn't even touch me. He didn't do anything. He got really mad, but what can you do when I was like mortified and immediately apologized profusely? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh shit, I'm sorry. And then I run away. And it's like, I didn't, So the problem is that his wife still works there. She and I get along fine. I'm still friends with her on Facebook. I haven't talked to him in 2003. Because he knows and he's friends with other people in the circle. Okay, dude, I'm not. All my enemies are dead. I'm too old for this shit. So, I had nothing to do with it, I swear to God. So later, he's showing up, and this and that, picking her up, and then we just walk by, hey, how's it going? And then, because I'm carpooling like 3 people. Dude, what you want to fight in the parking lot? What is this? I didn't mean to hit you, but you got you fired. It had nothing to do with me. I'm Mr. Joe Gung-Ho, the show. So we go to the nest, and that's we jump forward from, because 2004 is kind of awesome. I had a problem with this other guy, and he was going through this whole bit, but I was ready to beat the shit out of him finally he's like, he was mouthing off, and it's like, dude, this is a 22-person cast. You can't be talking shit. It's going to get around. Not only that, I'm the #1 actor. You're a first year. Not to be like pulling rank on you.
You're not going to win this.
I put him, dude, they love me because I fucking love them. And I go, I'm a pay it forward kind of worker and actor. I really, really care about the dude that's next. The dude before me, I can't do anything about it, but I can make the dude that's next's job way easier. So he starts getting. The problem is that I'm on the other end of the haunt, and I get Cookie to work in because he really wants to have the experience, and he absolutely loved it. And he was getting territorial with Cookie. This is my hallway. Don't be going in my hallway, dude. We're all in the show together. And it escalated and escalated and escalated, and finally it's like, it's really busy, and when it's really busy, they don't shut the haunt down for a break. They just have leads and makeup people and other people that aren't really actors fill the room, while the actor's like, Jesus Christ, oh my God, I'm going to smoke 2 cigarettes, drink a Monster or a rock star, touch up my makeup, give me more blood, and I'm going to get back out there for 3 more hours. Because that's a busy Friday, Saturday night at the haunt. It's nonstop. You want 110%, and we got to give it to you, so go. So Cookie and he come into my area, because we're friends now. I don't have any, this all gets sorted at the end, and I love him, and no problem with John at all. He loved him like a brother. So, but at the time, he's very mad at me, and he and Cookie, they're coming through because 2 people took over their rooms. And I jump out. I realize it's coworkers. I say, hey, a group is coming in like 2 seconds. You can either walk through Grody's area or you can go through the sliding wall, but you've got to hurry. And Cookie immediately walked to go to Grody's. John, the guy he's been arguing with for 2 weeks, puts his arm out and looks at me and goes, "You can't tell us what to do." I am literally your fucking supervisor. So I'm like super mad right now. And I'm like, just go. And that's the last thing I say to him. Now they get their break. They go back out onto the floor. I get my break and I am seething with rage at this point. Not just the rank, okay, but the disrespect of you're going to fuck up a show for the people by starting a fight with me because you want a fight. You want an argument with me. You want a fight. This has been building. You've been giving me the stink eye for 2 weeks now. You want this. Here you go. So now I'm in the break room screaming, I'm going to beat the shit out of John tonight after the show in the parking lot. That's it. I'm going to follow him to his car and just be like, today's the day. And here we go. So later for a second break, because it's that busy, we actually get a second break and they actually shut the haunt down. He comes up to me and he's like, I heard you were talking to him, you're going to kick my ass. And that was the last I needed. I put down my jug of water and my cigarette and I immediately turned on him and got into his face nose to nose and like, yeah, this is going to happen. I'm tired of your bullshit. Do you want to go out in the parking lot now, or do you want to wait till the end of the night? Ted wants me to wait till the end of the night, but I have had it with your shit. And immediately, like a fucking switch. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm that guy. That's an apology. That's all I wanted from the beginning. Okay.
We're good.
I forgive you. And he's like, I'm much bigger than this guy. He's got me on speed and agility, but like Marv fighting Kevin, if I get a hold of you, it's over. It's over. Oh, you don't know how much martial arts and wrestling I know. Ron's been since we were kids. Anyway, so I get an apology. That's all I wanted, dude. We're good. Please. Please. And then from that night on, for the whole next week, for the hard... Because that was the problem, is that, dude, you're really good at what you do, and now you're starting a fight with me for no reason, because I made a couple jokes in the makeup room. We all give each other shit in the makeup room. We're in half makeup. We look like troglodyte mutant retards. What do you want? I'm sorry.
I tell people that the 2 job requirements to work where I work is you need to be able to talk shit, you need to be able to take shit.
Yeah.
I have one coworker. The shit we talk at each other just for entertainment purpose. We've had supervisors step in between us because they thought, whoa, you guys need to back off. And we both start laughing and like fist bump each other.
It's not real. Yeah, it's not. It's like, an act.
It's like we're having fun. This is what we do. And we've gotten all kinds of people thinking that we're about to come to blows because of the shit we're talking.
The best coworker. No, you're not wrong. I watched it at several jobs, but the funniest one was Discount Tire has a fleet, and I worked at the corporate headquarters for the fleet. It's across all the states they're in. And these guys they all loved each other. They all worked together. They were all a giant, tight-knit group. But when the head guy was gone, they would all just flip each other off, and they walk from department to department. And then they would walk away, and they would... That cracked me up every time. Because I'm just sitting there just like, I got my headphone, I got the dollar store headset, and I'm just doing data entry, just, doing tires. And one day I'm like in the bathroom with the head honcho. We're both washing our hands, and I'm like, you know what this says when they do the motion sensor, when they regulate and regiment the resources. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, this is basically, I don't trust you assholes with the water and the... And I start going off, it's stand-up comedy routine in the bathroom, and he's smiling, he goes, I never looked at it that way. Yeah, hang out with me more for more left-handed insight weirdness.
Oh, I do that. It's like when I get angry at something, you can ask my wife. Some of my rants are the funniest shit ever.
Yeah, there you go.
When I get on something, oh man. And like I said, it's not something I can turn on and turn off. It's either there or it's not.
It's in the moment.
It's in the moment.
Yeah. In the moment comedy it's up there with you go to the Arizona Renaissance Festival, and if you go to, Rob, is everything okay? Gretchen keeps barking. Hopefully everything's okay. Dead Bob, the Dead Bob Show. You're familiar with the Dead Bob Show?
Oh, yeah,
you know it exists?
A couple of different Dead Bobs, yes.
Okay. So Clark, the Dead Bob that is the original Dead Bob for us, isn't even the original Smudge and Dead Bob. He bought the act and the puppet from a guy who retired down in Texas, and then he kind of franchised out because Ren Fair runs in 2 circuits all year long. So he figured out a way to, I'll do this circuit, you do that circuit. I'm in Arizona, you're in Florida. I'm in Georgia, you're in Southern California. Oh, there you are. Good. Gretchen's okay?
Yeah, I had to take care of some business, and she was making sure that I was taking care of the appropriate business.
Fair enough. But Dead Bob is now a completely different guy, but the show is the same. And the problem is that every time he changes the show, he loses his audience. It's a rerun. People want to see the same show. Zilch, the Tory Stellar, does several different shows a day, but they're the same show that he's been doing since. He's one of the first. Him and Smee and Blog, which Kathy and Chad Rockney and I talked about, that's way back. Because in 87, 88, Ren Fair wasn't at Ren Fair. It was in the parking lot of Big Surf. And then Jeffrey Siegel bought the land out there. And then the next year in what was it, 89? Was the first year out there. And then 90 was the first year I went. But Middleshire Stage was just a tent. Now there's a bridge and there's this whole thing.
It's a whole town out there now.
Yeah. It's a 33-acre plot of land, and it's about a 23-acre fair site. Because from 2000 on, Christine was managing the costume rental shop, and we would have to go out there to receive the shipment of equipment and some costumes from TRF. And they would drive from Houston, near Houston, where TRF is, all the way to Gold Canyon, which is just 9 miles east of Apache Junction, out off the 60, where Ren Fair is. And every year, there were different managers, not every year, but through my tenure of working there for 15 years, and we would take them through the entire fair site, and we would get back to the entrance, and they would be like, "That's it? What do you mean that's it?" "Oh, your entire fair is the size of our child's play area." And hearing that year after year, it was like, you know what? Fuck you. And then actually going out there, Christine and I drove the equipment a couple times, once, all the way out to Houston to drop it off. And then they took us around the 90-acre fair site. And that Renaissance Festival, TRF, what is it, on HBO or Hulu or Amazon? They made an entire documentary on, because the owner is nuts. And he's like the king, the fire marshal of the real town, the Greenville or Greenfield or wherever, Texas. But that's the biggest Ren Fair on the circuit. Most of them are about 40 to 20 acres. That one's 90. And we walked out onto the main road, and it's infinity. It just goes on forever. You can't even see, your eyes can't see the end of it. And I got really good faraway vision, and I couldn't see the end of it.
Wow.
We're people that have traveled the circuit, my brother-in-law Chip and ex-brother-in-law Quinn included. You can only go so far on your break at that festival because there's only so much time to get back to your booth if you're working as a boothie. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like to staff that thing for street characters. if it's anything like Arizona, because in Arizona, the fair is broken up into sections, and then you're a street character. I'm a juggler. Okay, let's say you're going to be in zone 2 from 9:30 or 10 o'clock when it opens till 10:30. Then you have a half an hour break. Then you're going to go to zone 8 from 11 to 11:30. So it's broken up in half an hour increments when you're a street character. Whether you're telling jokes or playing the violin or singing or juggling or doing magic or whatever the hell you do. But when you're a stage act, try to be there in the morning. Be there for the opening gate. Be there to be, here, come see us. And then you usually have 4 or 5 shows a day, because there's like 14 stages of continuous entertainment where every half an hour there's a new show.
You can't see it all.
You can't see it all in one day. It's physically unless you're like a wizard from another dimension, you're not gonna be able to. I've been out there, well, not anymore. I haven't been out there for 10 years, but I was out there for decades, and there were shows that had come and gone.
It's probably been 15 since we went.
Yeah. Tom Selectotomy has been out there since the beginning. I've passed his show a dozen times, but never actually had the opportunity to sit down and watch a whole one, because I was doing other stuff. In the half an hours when I was off duty, I was trying to make money. I was working for a shop, hawking, which was using my comedic ability to get people to go into this store and buy whatever I was selling. Take your pick over the course of the decade. Then in 93, I met a cute girl, and she convinced me to do Morris dancing. Holy crap, Paul and E-Paul and Sam and all these other people I know are already in this group. What is it? It's Morris dancing. Oh, no. Yeah, this is the equivalent of what people in England that are anthropologists and librarians and ultra-mega nerds do. Oh. So it's literally the equivalent of, like, going up to an English person and going, I'm a Morris dancer. And they go, oh, isn't that quaint? How cute for you. It's literally the equivalent of an English person coming up to you out of the blue and going, I'm a professional square dancer. Oi! I'm a professional fucking square dancer, I am. It's totally like...
I bet you are.
Like,
Bless your heart.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
Where's your gingham outfit?
Bless your little heart.
Do-si-do, and it's a promenade, and it's the same thing. Here's the dirt to do this, and the hey, and the... Yeah, it's the same thing. So there's a big thing, because Paul was the one that had to explain it to me. Because here I am out in the world meeting English people, telling them, bragging, I'm a Morris dancer, and they're looking at me like I'm fucking crazy and retarded. I'm sorry to throw that around like an insult, but, what's wrong with you? And then later he's like, and then you watch Red Dwarf, and the only one, Rimmer, is a Morris dancer. And the way the rest of the show recoils at the, because to Americans, you're like, Morris dancing, what is that? It's Morris dancing. I don't understand what that is. Have you seen the Men in Hats video? Oh, that was back in the 80s. You know that one part where there's a bunch of guys dancing together with bells on their shins? Oh, yeah. That's what they do. Oh, that's a thing? That wasn't just for the video? Yeah.
Yes.
Let me tell you about the Diggers. In 1649, to St. George's... No, just let it go. It's not important. No one will ever love history as much as you as the individual loves history. It's okay. It's all right. I remember going to the storage unit on Cave Creek Road, which my mom still has a unit there, but it's the reason half of my house is filled with tubs, because we're going to need to save her money. We got to get rid of that storage unit. Well, good thing I got rid of my couch. Okay, my living room is a storage unit now. And one day, I'm switching out for holidays, doing the old putting the Halloween stuff away, grabbing the Christmas crap, and here's this long-haired guy, no ponytail, no, his hair's just loose, and, dude, you're dressed like he's dressed like a first-year Rennie that got a job at the local yokels. He's wearing brown trousers that they look like sweatpants from far away, but when you get up close to them, these are not sweatpants. These are pants that are gathered with a string at the bottom and a string at the top with no fly. This is old world pants. And I noticed he's got a chemise on, which would be a blouse in modern day, which would be like something you'd see Fabio in on the cover of a romance novel.
I have a couple of puffy sleeve shirts myself.
He's unloading a car onto a, one of the little rolling carts you get at Home Depot. And I take stuff up. I'm bringing stuff down. I get the vibe right away. Okay, there's something wrong with this guy. But there's no need to be not neighborly just because you get the vibe that somebody's not. So I walk up to him. Hi, how you doing? Do you need some help? No, I'm fine. Okay. SCA or Ren Fair? What? SCA or Ren Fair? What? Are you in the SCA or do you work at the Ren Fair? What are you talking about? Your clothes. You're 500 years out of date, fashion-wise. Oh, no, I'm not in the SCA. I don't work at the Ren Fair. I just really like these clothes.
Hey.
I need to leave now. Oh, you should really think about joining one or the other. Backs away quickly. Yeah, I worked out at the You worked out at the Ren Fair? Fuck. Yes, I worked out at the Ren Fair from 9 to... You auditioned in September. It's really awesome. You meet some amazing people. You have a great time. Or as Mark Firestone said, and I've been quoting him since 1994, it's the most fun nightmare you'll ever have. Still true to this. Well, I don't know. I don't work out there anymore, but it was in 2015.
I spent a whole month there 1 week.
You're not lying. And he just looked at me like I was just batshit crazy, and it was just like...
You're the one wearing scarecrow clothes, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, basically, yeah. You're like... Half of you is what we do in the darkness, and the other half is basically a scarecrow. Basically, like, Kyle Reese stole a homeless guy's clothes and banged Sarah Connor in the past.
That's like one of the. You remember the Python routine where they had what was it? They had the two gangs that were fighting in the park, and one was dressed in Renaissance clothing, and another one was dressed in another.
Yeah, I remember.
And
that.
they come together and they have mad fights because the two groups can't coexist.
Without the straw and the hat, I mean, yeah, it's a makeup. This guy's fucking Wurzel Gummidge. What the fuck is going on here? And it was his reaction to my reaction because it's the movie Grandma's Boy and JP my lady. And I'm watching that and it's like, if you're in Ren Fair or SCA, that's excusable because you spend so much time doing that. But this joker is a computer programmer, and he hasn't been in either one of those groups. So it's creepy. And Christine was laughing and everything, the whole... But, yeah, it's kind of the same reality where it's like, which group are you in? Oh, I'm not in either group. Oh, okay.
Is there a third group that I'm unaware of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is one, or Aiden Velt, or I should have said that, but... Most people are like, no, I left the SCA and I joined Aiden Valtor. Most of the people say the same. In 90 and in 91, the SCA and Ren Fair, there were mercenaries in service of the king. And they were there. They had a tent, and we partied with a lot of the guys. I met Shark and a couple of the other guys at... Coronado, which became Devonshire, or was it Devonshire? It's been so long now, I'm starting to not remember any Sappho. But, so I knew a couple of the Rennies, but when I met Paul in 90 at the Devonshire Renaissance Festival at 28th Street in Indian School, and that was a one weekend fair, and Sam brought him there to see us, to see me and Marco and Ryan and Eclipse, because our show was like juggling and a little bit of magic, and then we broke off into it's not Baba Yaga, but we called it Baba Yaga, and then some dancing, and then that was it was a half an hour show. So Paul did not want to be at the show because all of SCA was there because, hey, let's hang out in October. The war's not till February. So it was the first time I met Paul was the most uncomfortable I've ever seen Paul in his life. Hi, nice to meet you. Right, hey, this is great. It's fucking, and he's like looking around, and all of these giant guys in SCA go, Pablo, and they would come up, and he'd be like, oh, hi, and you could tell, oh, this nerd is not reading social cues, dude. He doesn't want to talk to you.
No.
So all of these people are trying to get Paul to come back in the SCA, and he's like, no, I'm doing Red Fair now, because he was, I'm sorry, but Paul had the best pirate name for a character ever, and he used it out there for years. Robin Plunder. Robin Plunder, first mate.
Nice.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yes, that's a good nickname. I'm gonna derail things and ask you, where did you come up with your nickname? Why Hornswoggle the Great? What's the story behind it? Because there's a story behind my name as well.
Okay. Do you want me to go first, or do you want you to go first?
Yes, I want you to go first.
Holy crap!
Yours will be better, and I'll have to follow it and could totally fail. But
I'm an old soul. Been told that by every fucking psychic I've ever met, whether I paid them money or not. They couldn't wait to tell me. You've had a lot of lifetimes. Well, I'm kind of dumb, so yeah, that makes sense that I have to keep redoing it all the time. So, I've always been in love with the word hornswoggled. I thought that was hilarious because it's just so, I was swindled. I was taken advantage of. They grifted me. So, here we go. Early 80s, Gary Coleman had a cartoon. And in the cartoon, he was an angel that couldn't get into heaven. It was an offshoot of his Oh Heavenly Kid show. And he would try to help everybody in the area that he was in. There was one guy who was actually dressed as a pimp, but he was a white guy with a pointy mustache and a big purple, and he was dressed in purple and red, and he was Hornswoggle. And always made me laugh because the way Gary Coleman said his name, it was like he was spitting it. Oh, Hornswoggle! So it made it all the more funnier because we were all struggling for stage names, and Ryan and Jason and Marco and I didn't really know what to do because none of us had any. We were all high school students. We didn't know Ren Fair. We didn't know. Now we have to put. I learned how to juggle my senior year of high school. 2 actors, Jimmy Velasquez and Matt Page, came down from the Southern Utah Shakespearean Festival with a whole troupe, and they put on a show in the auditorium at Horizon High School in 89, 90, and they went to drama class after drama. We weren't the only school. They also went and saw Jason Barth in Shadow Mountain and PV High School. So it was kind of this conglomerate of high school drama teachers that were in contact with this Shakespeare school. So it's dude, if you're an actor and you love the art, this is a huge opportunity. So we were finding Shakespeare names, and I'm like, dude, I want my costume to be green and brown, and I want to go by the name of Dragon Dung. And everybody thought that was fucking hysterical. But then later we were talking about it, and it's that doesn't really fit into anything. I mean, why, Marco was going to be Romeo, the romantic juggler, and we had this whole bit where we would walk up to women, and I would go, hi, I'm, do this and that. But I didn't really have a name per se, and then all of a sudden it just kind of came out of the fly because I remembered that character, and I'm like, why don't I be Hornswoggle the Great, King of Fools? And I drop that last part later. And it's
That's interesting because I went by Jingo, King of Fools, for a while.
but that's too much pressure. And then Jason Barth and Mike Bartlow were amazing actors at Shadow Mountain. And I learned how to juggle I really wanted to learn how to juggle. I'm obsessed with clowns. I've never been afraid of clowns. When I was 3, my mom decorated my room in all of clowns. That was the only reason to go to the circus. They're like It and Joker. It's like, it's not scary. These guys are awesome. So it's not, I don't have that clown phobia that most, Americans have. Because you put a clown in a haunted house, level 10 screams, and every
wife
night
is clownophobic.
Yeah, where I'm like, one year there was a family of 15 and they all dressed as clowns, and they came walking down the center of the street at like 8:30, and I walked up to them like, oh my god, you guys are amazing, and they recoiled from me, and they're like, you're the first person that's approached us. I love you, I want to join. No. Okay. I'll go back to my house. That's literally what happened. And they went on their way. But so they were like, does anyone want to learn how to juggle? Ah! So I learned in the what are high school classes? 54 minutes, 48 minutes, something like that. I learned how to juggle, and I wouldn't leave it alone, and I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And the next day, there was also Kevin Brandt. And Kevin wanted to be a tennis pro. That's all he talked about. And he already knew how to juggle because most tennis guys know how to juggle. Like, you go into the produce section and you think you're a badass. Most produce guys know how to juggle. It falls back to W.C. Fields. Most produce guys know how to juggle. So Kevin wanted no part of going to Ren Fair, putting on birthday parties, doing promotions, doing shows. But he wanted to do the one for a show. He did it. And then he stopped because everybody had matching costumes. And then the guy that matched my costume quit. So Jason comes in, and then Mike and Jason and everybody left. So I became Hornswoggle the Great. And then Barth became Bonneville, the just as great as Hornswoggle, but not as well known. So then we would kind of like do that whole playing off thing. So that's where the name came from. And then later in life, Hornswoggle the Midget Wrestler arrives, and everyone's like, you stole your name from him. Actually, I've been Hornswoggle since 89, and I'm Hornswoggle the Great. He's just Hornswoggle. I am not a midget, nor do I do professional wrestling. That's all him. He's awesome. I've watched a lot of his matches. I love midget wrestling. You don't understand. It's a great thing. So I would never take that away from him, but I've been Hornswoggle longer than he has, and that's long story short, that's the origin. And I found a picture of the original Hornswoggle, and you know what, let me post it right now instead of just talking about it on
right. And I know we're almost out of time, but I'm going to tell my story now.
Please do.
The way Jingo came about is many years ago. My group of friends, we all played D&D together, and we'd get together every once in a while and do a one-shot. And I was running this one-shot where they were all in this town, and there was like this bardic convention, this big entertainment festival going on. And they were in one of the venues watching this clown be funny, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the sandbag drops out of the ceiling and crushes this clown. And everybody's laughing at first until they realize he's dead. And so this crazy jester shows up, and I pulled the name out of my ass, Jingo, the jester. And he's like, he's dead because he was funnier than me. Nobody can be funnier than me. And this jester went on this killing spree that they had to go chase him down. And this was just a one-shot. Well, a couple of years later, the same group of people I played D&D with became the group that I went to SEA events with. And we were out, and I saw a jester hat. So I bought it and wore it back to camp. And as I came into camp wearing it, one of my friends immediately said, "You're Jingo the Jester." And it stuck. Everybody started calling me, and that morphed into Jingo the Fool.
That's awesome.
Or the Jingo the King of Fools.
Oh, I lied. Hornswoggle has kind of a black overcoat and a red vest and like a almost periwinkle ascot and the pointy beard, and he's got the same colored gloves. But he was a ne'er-do-well. He was a villain, which, dude, that's what the name is. That's why it's like, why would you trust me? That's how I got the name. In case you were all wondering out there, like and subscribe. That's where Hornswoggle the Great came from. I miss the old days, but they're old days. You know, you can't go back. Because everyone's like, why don't you just go out to fair and do... Fair is a time bubble that happened, and I really miss the people and the time and everything. But Ren Fair is... If you miss a year at the haunt, but then you come back, you're welcomed with open arms. If you miss a year at Ren Fair and then the next year you come back... I'm sorry, who are you? You did what? We did that? Yeah. It's just a weird dynamic as a street character. I don't know what it's like for retiring and coming back as a stage. Because even like, was it Jason Spishak, who has been in movies and shows, and he did voices for video games. Back in the day, he was a Ren Fair performer like Penn and Teller. Because Penn and Teller got there. Gillette Penn started out doing what I was doing. He juggled, he told horrible jokes, he accosted people for money, and he had the advantage. When I say accosted people for money, he was like, okay, let's get a picture. Okay, $1, please. And they go, oh, no, I was just kidding. And most of them give you $1 anyway if you're funny and you keep telling jokes. Or like we did with Marco and I would go and we would find beautiful women, and we would run up to them and, hello, I'm Hornswoggle the Great, King of Fools. This is Romeo the Romantic Juggler, and he's been admiring you from afar, and he'd really like to tell you what he thinks of you. Do you want to hear it? And, I'm the ugly one. Marco is, Northern Italian, so he's an attractive guy. Oh, my God. He's one of those dudes that you're friends with, and you're like, will you stop picking up women? It's getting fucking annoying after a couple of years, okay? So he would get down on one knee, my lady, may I have your hand? And he would kiss their hand. English is a second language. So he would start going off in Italian. And we had the only reason I knew what he was saying is because I pre-memorized the English for the Italian. He was about to spew on these women. Your father must have been a thief because he stole the stars from the heavens and placed them in your eyes. And my lady, when I see you, when I'm around you, and your scent and your... And meanwhile, he would get up, and they were like swooning. Here's a bunch of chicks in Phoenix that, here's all this Italian. And Marco was 5'9", 5'8", 160 pounds, broad-chested, but not chubby at all. Cared about himself, worked out a lot. Excellent guitar player, good, excellent guy. And do you want to know what he said? Yes, $5, please. And they would get all mad. Oh, all right. Oh, he said that, my lady, your beauty is surpassed by none, and your father must have been a thief because... And they would swoon, and we were, we'd go make deals with the Rose Girls where we would buy the roses that were a day old that they couldn't use. But he had, after a while, he got fucking groupies. He moved to Texas, and women are come up to me, where's Romeo? Well, he left. Where is he? He's in Plano. Good luck. Oh my God, I love his wife. Crystal is amazing. I got to meet her and his 3 beautiful children. It's been many years, but cheers to him. Salud. He did so well in life. So happy for him. Hopefully one day we'll get him on the show. He's a vet tech by trade. His father had the deepest voice I've ever heard a man have. His mother was the first woman to beat me. It was not my mom, and it wasn't for pleasure. He's like, do you want to go down to Rocky Point? I'm like, what? He's like, do you want to go down to Rocky Point with my family and these other 2 families? Fuck yeah. This is like 90. So the 4 of them and these other families, we all go down to Rocky Point. I am the only American with 4 No, 5 Italian nationals and a Kurd from Iraq. Sadi was really cool. I feel bad for that guy. It put the whole Desert Shield thing in a new perspective because we go down to Rocky Point. I'm the only one in trunks. all these Italian guys, and they all got Speedos on. I feel inadequate. I feel unmanly.
Do your own thing.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But I noticed looking over that, you've been through some shit. Because he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want, especially to an American kid from the suburbs. I look over. The Iraqi war were holding the Kurds in groups, and they would just torture the shit out of them. So I look over at this grown man. I'm 19. He's late 20s, early 30s. Multiple tic-tac-toe games were carved into this man's back.
That's crazy.
More than a half a dozen. Because I don't want to stare. We're at a beach. We're having a good time. I'm sure he doesn't want to relive that while we're all half naked on the. So we're coming back. Down in Rocky Point, there was a restaurant. I don't know if it still exists. Laughing Dolphin, Smiling Dolphin. We go. I've never had bacon wrapped shrimp so good since, or probably will I ever again in life. I want to go meet the people that were in the kitchen and go, you have made a level that can never be surpassed. So the owner finds out that they're all from Italy, and this guy was in the Mexican army, and I guess he spent some time in Italy, and he brought out a guitar and sang Italian songs for like an hour, and everything's great. And it was when I learned about siesta, because Marco and I are like, dude, we can get served at the bar at the discoteca. He's like, this is like Europe. This is like Italy. Stick with me. You're way too American to get served. And I'm like, okay, I'm older than you, but this is your realm. Okay, so we go. We're there at like 9:30. Marco starts talking. When your first language is Italian and you're faced with Spanish, it's so similar that communication happens. It's way easier than Spanish and English, really. So he's there. We're all. The best part was like when the kids gums, chiclets, and they would walk up to us and they would start rattling off in Italian, and the kids would be like, because it sounds like Spanish, but it's not Spanish.
Portuguese is the same way. Only it's a little less like Spanish than Italian is.
Yeah. Oh. And we're all grown adults now, so Marco and I get really drunk at this discoteca. We're like rolling down the steps, and then we go up to the bar at the top of the hotel. We're just being we're trying to be cool, but we're funny to them. Oh, here, kids, have some more beer. Modelo Negro. Yeah, gracias. So that's fine. We leave the next day. It's 6-8 hour ride, Phoenix to Rocky Point.
About 8 hours, yeah.
6 hours in, Marco's younger brother, who is, this is 89, 90. Alex and Marco are fighting. And I'm drawn into this because I'm Marco's best friend. So we start fucking with him because we're tired of his shit, and he's the little brother, and dude, it's a long ride. Just find something to amuse yourself with. This is my favorite conversation ever. All of a sudden, Marco's aunt turns around and goes, okay, American, explain. How can I take a shit, give a shit, not... So we had to explain shit to her for 2 hours, literally, how, like, we couldn't use the word fuck, but how multifaceted the word shit is, and I'm explaining it, and he's translating it lightning fast in Italian from English. After that, Alex gets very annoyed and punches Marco and I both at the same time at once. We're tired of his crap at this time because we've been in the car for like 7 hours. And it's 8 hours down, 8 hours down, 6 hours back. All of a sudden, Nadia, Marco's mother, has just absolutely had enough. This is a flashback from my childhood with my mother's wooden Dr. Scholl's shoes. She immediately takes off her shoe, turns around, and starts to beat all three of us. Marco and I are laughing. Alex is crying, and I'm like, oh my God. I love you. But she did love me. So that was fun. That was my trip to Rocky Point. Now you can't just go to Rocky Point with a driver's license. It's a different show now. But this is a politics-free zone. So anyway, yeah, we had this whole thing worked out. And then Marco moved to Texas, and then Jason and I were doing it. It was Ryan, because Ryan, Grimpenmire, which was a bog in England. We just thought that was so fucking cool sounding. That's your name now. And we did the shows for a while, and then, everybody went their own way. Ryan went on the road, and Marco moved, and Jason went into the Marines, and Mike went into the Army, and Scott went into the Air Force, and Eric moved with his mom to Florida. So it was just like, I had this group, and we were doing all this stuff, and then the next thing you know,
poof.
It set the stage for a lot.
That happened to me.
It set the stage for a lot of what happens.
Between my 8th grade year and my freshman year of high school, all three of my close friends moved away. 2 of them out of state, 1 of them to another part of town. So I started high school really without any friends. No close friends. A lot of people I knew, nobody I was close friends with. Some of the people I met in high school with, I'm still friends with to this day.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ron, Guy, they're here on the council. It's weird that I have an older sister and my brother-in-law, and they got married in like 91, and they're still married to this day, and they have 2 beautiful children. But it's weird as an extrovert to hear the life of an introvert, and he's like, do you still talk to this person? Yeah. Do you still hang out with this person? Well, we don't hang out, but I talk to him on, every once in a while. What about this person? What about that person? Yeah. Well, no. Dude, life happens. And it's a reminder that he only hung out with like 4 or 5 people his entire career from like 7th grade to senior year. And now it's like 2 of those dudes he doesn't talk to, and the other dude he barely talks to. And other than that, he hasn't made any kind of male bonding. Oh, it's like when I go to work, I got lots of friends, and making friends isn't a problem, but I'm not here to make friends. I came here to work. If I make a friend, dude, that's an extra bonus. But that's not the goal of going to work. But then there's those people that they go to work because this is the social interaction that they have.
I keep my social interactions with coworkers very superficial and very minimal. I'm not a chit-chatter. I'm not the kind of person who can sit around and idly talk about, the minutia of my life. And I'm not talking, you're not a chit-chatter, you're a storyteller.
I so am.
No, there's a big difference. You have
also
something
a gossip, a rumor spreader.
The difference is you have something to say. Chit-chatters don't have anything to say. They just can't sit in silence.
It's just
and
anecdotal.
So must force conversation even when there's nothing really to be talking about. And I have a couple of coworkers that are run on talkers. They start talking, and one, they can't work and talk at the same time, and they never stop talking. One of them, they're the kind that if you have to leave and go to another area, if they're not done talking, they'll follow you and talk to you.
Oh my
They'll
God.
follow you into the bathroom and talk
Like
to you.
Robin Williams in Awakening when the guy's trying to pee and Robin Williams still trying to tell him about his idea. Dude, give me 5 minutes. Fucking Christ. You want to wash my hands for me? You want to tap it?
All right.
No.
Well, I hate to do this, but it's at pumpkin hour for me.
Yep.
And I got to be up at 4 for work. So
Be
it's
there at
time
6.
to pull the ripcord and take my handful of pills and my old man gummies and get ready for bed.
I'm going to stick to Old Faithful Mary Jane. Thank you very much for watching. You could have watched anybody, but you decided to watch us. Thank you. Like and subscribe. We should have a show. If I'm not able to be here, you guys should have a show without me because it'll be the Monday before Halloween. Because I don't know when I'm going to work for 13th floor, but I definitely have Wendy's in the morning, so that's fun. But hey.
If I had more time to set it up, I would have had my Twitch channel up today too. So we'll see how we can do that.
I got 2 interviews tomorrow, and I got an interview on Wednesday, so I'm hopeful. But my mother said as a young child, and I just, you're crazy. The older you get, the harder it is to find employment. People don't want to hire old people, and that's true.
Unless they have very specific things they need done.
Yeah.
You're the only one that still knows how to do it.
You're going to call in all the time. I was the overtime guy at the last place. Bill, can you? Yes. Bill, can you? Yes. You're not paying me enough. I have to work the overtime. I was making this level. You're making me get paid at this level. I have to do your overtime. But yes, thank you very much. Episode 44. Like and subscribe. Enjoy. If I'm not here next week, enjoy Halloween. Best holiday ever. And thank you. Do you guys have any plugs besides Body and Soul candles? Thank you, Lauren. Feel bad about.
I have one this Saturday at, is it noon Eastern? Yes, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time, over on the Real Women of Gaming Twitch channel. Spell it all out. I'll be running a one-shot for the group of ladies over there.
Please.
And so we'll be streaming a one-shot adventure. Real Women of Gaming.
Real Women of Gaming. Please post that on the Facebook.
I will. I
Oh,
absolutely. In fact, I'm meeting with the girls on Wednesday night to set up the virtual table and all the stream stuff so that we can do it.
Very cool.
I really want to join your Thursday night game, but I'll probably be at work. Because the supervillains that have to save the world really intrigues me. And now that you've been telling me about the character.
let me real quick throw this out there. The group I've got that I'm running that through is like 7 or 8 players. It's big. Wow. And so you won't get a lot of personal time on it.
That's
However, I want to get back to streaming a game on my channel. And I would stream an instance of that game for you guys if you would play it on stream. And run a separate instance of the campaign from the beginning for you.
Thank you. Because I want to join the game that already is, but I kind of want to just us game too.
Yeah, well, like I said, we can discuss it when we get together at the next game.
Yep.
I know that Derek wants to game, Ed wants to game, Ron. I can ask Hannah, Finn.
Well,
I turned Christine into a gamer. Maybe Will in Washington.
Before you pull more people into
Derek.
it, Will in Washington. I know a Will. Will Narini?
No, Will Rowe.
I don't know him.
You do. You met him at one of Paul's parties. Big guy, boisterous, glasses, fun. Will's awesome.
You just described most of the people at
that's
Paul's.
the problem. Paul's parties were strange because, sorry, just real quick. That one in 90, there was a lot of people in his parents' backyard. I know you were there.
I was there. I was at
you
that
were there.
party. I was there, yes, absolutely.
I was dressed as a Shadowrun character. I had people with me, and one was dressed as a werewolf, and then there was a couple. There was a man and the woman, and one guy was dressed as a vampire vicar, and one was
I remember the vampire vicar.
That is Jason Barth, the guy I've been talking about most of this last tirade. One of the greatest actors I've ever met.
I was dressed as a doctor. I had a white lab coat and a name badge that said A.S. Hole, proctologist.
I remember you. That Sean Williams was dressed as Gene Simmons from Kiss. I can't remember what his girlfriend was dressed as. And then Teresa and what's his name? She was a matador, and he was dressed as a bull. We had some other people with us, too. I can't remember what Ryan was dressed as. Because Paul was like, do you want to come to my birthday party? Because being born in October 31st in England, no one gives a shit. It's just, it's Halloween. Okay, that's an Irish thing. We're in America. When's your birthday? October 31st. Really? Halloween? Okay. Is that good? Oh my God! A costume birthday party. Is that a thing? Oh, yeah. Well, even Hannah, she's November 1st. So most of her birthday parties over the years were on Halloween. And it's like, okay, kids, here you are. And then we would go trick-or-treating. Then we would have cake and ice cream. Then we would open presents. And okay, time for your parents.
My oldest daughter's birthday is New Year's Eve.
Capricorn. Yeah. So did you
The only significant thing about my birthday is I share it with Pope John Paul II and the Mount St. Helens eruption.
Oh, crap. Tell me. I can't remember. I can't remember. 84. Yeah.
It's 1980.
80. Whoops, 4 years
Mount
off.
St. Helens.
Was it November?
No, it's in May.
May. Oh,
18th of May.
18. Oh, you're a Taurus too. Yeah, our only competition is Mother's Day.
Yeah. Anyways, I am way past my pumpkin hour. I am going to bounce out. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Absolutely. You too. You're probably super tired as well. Wow, 3 hours, 15 minutes. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a wonderful night.
Take care, gentlemen.
Stay geeky. Absolutely. Uh-huh.